this madness in the name of your...
The long night is coming, and the dead come with it. No clan can stop them. The free folk can't stop them. The Night's Watch can't stop them, and all the Southern Kings can't stop them. Only together. All of us. And even then it may not be enough, but at least we'll give the fuckers a fight.
Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with some juice to get you through the long night. Hello, sweet summer children. Welcome back to another episode of DireWolfCity. And you guys voted. So today we're going to be doing Riverlands scraps. Are you guys hype?
Always.
Yeah. I was like, my dumbass.
Yeah.
Are you talking?
You were expecting us all at the same time to go, yeah.
I was.
Are you ready, kids? No, I'm just kidding.
Ooh, that's good.
So we're off to a great start. So we're going to be doing Riverlands scraps. So that means the Blackfish, the Hound, the Brotherhood without banners, the Ghost of High Heart, Jaime, Brienne, like any bits and pieces that we miss about them, Lady Stoneheart, any bits and pieces that we miss about her. Then there's like the
Wolf Pack,
the Wolf Pack, Walder Frey, what's going on at the Twins, what's going on at the Riverlands. So what's going on at Harrenhal? So let me just answer this super chat and then we'll get right into it. We have a super chat from Josh Gripe. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate y'all and your content. Really liking the Sunday night schedule. Has me going into work and the school week in a good mood and really look forward to this episode. Peace, love, and positive vibes. Everyone's away. Thank you so much. And I'm glad like those compliments are, I need those. It's like to keep going that like the thing that these streams or my content or our content like really makes y'all's day, like highest compliments a person can receive. So thank you so much. And I just want to shout out to the chat real quick. Emma is here, Carla Way, Jackie C, David J, 87 Allen, Lord Ron Torrendo, Fernando Pugh, DireWolfCity Supreme, Edric Storm, you seeing this Corliss? Don't start.
Wait, what I miss?
We just started the stream, Edric. My gosh.
I'm glad that he's here though, because I saw something about him tweeting like, "Oh, it's football night." It's like you can't mute that shit and listen to us.
Yeah, like, come on.
Come on.
Tony Sled is here. Alan Thompson, Maud Mary, David J, Aaron Ayers. Yeah, so we're up in here tonight, and and Wisdom Inari's here, and Bryce's is here, and Nim just put the Discord link in the chat. So if you want to join the Discord for the book club, the trivia, just to talk theories or whatever, then you can click that link and you will go to the Queen's Gate and you just got to answer like 2 questions and then they'll like let you go right through. So anyway,
we have the questions because we get a lot of bots in there and we get a lot of naughty bots. And so we try to keep them like weeded out. And if they like answer like a normal human being, then you're allowed past the gate. And we have trivia night tomorrow. So if you guys want to come and hang out with us and do trivia, join me so you can be there.
Everybody's talking about their teams have already won. Someone said the Dolphins already played, and then someone said the Bears. So I'm a Ravens fan. The Ravens play tomorrow. So yeah, mute that shit. It's DireWolfCity time. So about the Riverlands, before we like get into specific characters, I want to talk about the Riverlands in general for a minute, because I feel like the Riverlands is like one of the most important places in the story. So when we talk about like these battles that have been fought, like Aegon's Conquest, Rhaenyra, the Dance of Dragons, all these big, huge battles, Robert's Rebellion, I feel like they were decided in the Riverlands. Like Aegon really won his conquest at Harrenhal. Yep.
It's the God's Eye.
The God's Eye.
It's got this gravitational pull to it, you know, all that magic in Westeros, you know.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's probably hungry for some blood. Werewood loves blood. So it's getting all fed and whatnot.
Oh,
yummy.
Good thing we're all together again. Look at this shit.
Look at us.
I was about
Just
to say
look at
something
it.
so fucking disgusting. I'm just
No,
glad
you
I
have
did not
to
say
now.
it.
No, you have to now.
No.
Why would you open up a can of worms and not
I
deliver?
can't say it.
You
like,
know I
cannot-
love fucking disgusting.
I'll text it to you. We have
My curiosity is piqued.
We have a super chat from Count Valerian of House Tatters. Not all Freys are evil. There are half a dozen good ones out of 760.
Yeah.
Good one.
And they're dead, all of them.
Good one.
Who was the really good one that was heir? Stavros? Stavon?
The one that's dead. He's dead.
Stevrin.
Yeah. Stevrin.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I was gonna call him Saffron, but that's Harry's daughter.
We have another super chat from Fernando Pugh. Start the night with humor. Missed last week. Wed, bed, behead, Cersei edition, Rhaegar, Jaime, and Arrayne.
Is this fun?
I would wed.
Wait, are we as Cersei? Are we Cersei?
Wait.
I'm sorry. Are we Cersei?
I got this.
That's Mary Kill. But
I got this. I would wed Jaime because bed, if I had to choose Rhaegar, behead Arrayne because something tells me Arrayne is riddled with like the pox or something.
Syphilis. Yeah, I'd behead Arrayne too. But I'd I'd wed Rhaegar. He's fucking Prince.
Yeah, but he's like the worst husband ever.
I don't care. I'm not to say I would love him, but I'd wed him. I'd be the queen. I don't give a fuck. Cersei was tripping.
For me, wed Jaime because at least I know he'll stay faithful to me. Because
unless Cersei comes around.
But we are okay.
Aren't we Cersei though?
Okay,
yeah.
Fernando,
it's Cersei.
And say, is Cersei a factor or no? Because
I thought it was just people she had a crushes on, or people.
Oh, I mean, even if I was Cersei, I'd still marry Jaime because like Jaime's like cares and shit. Yeah. In his own sick way, you know what I mean? He's like a faithful guy, like
in his own incestuous way. Yeah,
in his own incestuous way. He loves Cersei.
But he can't. He might not be able to do that thing that you like. He's not experienced.
Oh, I know. Damn, he only has one hand.
No experience means you can train him.
Oh, you can train him.
What if he slaps your ass with his stump? You know, just gives a little like.
He'd probably do something else with the stump too.
A for effort. Look, see, there you go. We're not without options.
I'd bet. All right, this sounds so bad. I'd bet Arrayne just because I feel like he's experienced. Because, like, no offense to Rhaegar, but Rhaegar doesn't seem like he was like, you know, having fun like that. He was kind of like a loser.
He's kind of emo.
He's kind of emo. He's kind of a loser a little bit for a while, like, until he decided to like glow up and like train himself. So yeah, mine would be behead Rhaegar because he's an asshole. Wed Jaime and bed Arrayne because he sounds like a good time. I mean, bastards are fun. Like Jon's a bastard. So
and
far,
he gave Ygritte
some good
Lord's kiss. So I'm assuming Arrayne.
The Lord's kiss.
She was ready to die about that dick.
Listen, Edric Storm is up to it again. He said, "I'd sneaky link Lady Stoneheart. That throat though."
I'm gonna.
Okay. Can we move on?
No, listen. He'd actually get along with my brother because my brother did drill instruction when he was in the military, and he said something very similar to his airmen. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, moving right along. Wait, Mandy, did you want to answer that question?
Oh, I was with Alicia. I had the same answer.
Oh, sad.
No, I'm not fucking a rain. This pox riddled ass.
Right.
It'd be fun.
Like he's okay,
Yeah, syphilis was
experienced,
super fun
yes,
back
but
then
they
before
didn't have
penicillin and
condoms
shit.
back then.
So you know.
And if they did, it was like sheep intestines or something.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Ugh.
Okay.
And
I
they
mean,
weren't
anyway.
even single use. They were rinse and reuse. No.
Anyway.
I mean, Marjorie seems fine. But anyways.
Oh yeah, and it is. I do think she's fucking him.
Oh, I do too. Oh, I do too. Check out Marjorie's stream for that.
Yes. So
She's dying young, so we'll never know.
Yeah.
So we have a super chat from Tranquil Ashes. Thank you for the super chat. Be more native, go Ravens. Speaking of Ravens, will Bran have any influence on Lady Stoneheart's revenge? I do think that Bran is going to try to get in contact with his mom, because if Jaime has a part to play in the wars to come, or if anybody has a part to play in the wars that are to come, that Lady Stoneheart is about to, then I feel like he will try to intervene.
That would make sense. And because they're in like a cave. Yeah. And I'm of one of these people. I'm working on this theory that I mentioned in my REN video. I'm doing some research. I haven't gotten to this particular cave yet, but I think it's part of this like big network of underground like tunnels the children built.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised if Bran can like channel the energy in there to get in contact with his mother, at least through like, well, she doesn't sleep. So it's kind of like, how will he get in there? But I'm working on it, guys. Give me some
Go ahead,
time.
Alicia.
To me, it doesn't quite track that Bran gives a shit about his mother. So I don't think he's gonna do shit. He's gonna be like, like,
I mean,
thought
not
of
for
her
Cat, for Jaime, not for Cat.
I also don't think he gives a shit, because like,
Why
Cat-
should he? She abandoned him.
She did. And Kat does all this like thinking about her children. They never fucking think about her. Well, Bran doesn't. Bran is always thinking about going north and finding the three-eyed crow. He really does not give two shits about his mom.
Yeah,
He-
he thought of
he
her
more-
once with the Jojen paste when he said the last kiss his mother gave him, and that was the only time he thought about Cat.
Yeah. Like, he's more so into
Mira.
Rob. Like, he thinks about Rob
Oh.
a lot.
I'm
And
like,
Mira.
Mira.
Yeah, he is into her. Super chat from Phil by the Lake. Hi, GA. Watched your content during the shows and I fell off after. Continue making amazing content and I have some catching up to do. Peace and love. Thank you so much, Phil by the Lake. I appreciate that. And Wisdom Minari, thank you for the super chat. He says John knows how to eat cake.
and it's not even my birthday.
Only you. Only you.
I was thinking it too. It's
I was gonna say Ara was right there too. She knew.
I got my bop.
All I have to say is it's not even my birthday, and she knows.
Pisces
She
Queen
knows.
energy, Rihanna, obviously.
So we're going to get to this super chat and then we're going to get this going because I have so much I want to talk about, especially about the Blackfish. Like, I want to talk about everything, but the Blackfish, I was doing some research on him today and like,
Ready to go.
So Emily Christina, thank you for the super chat. Do you think Harrenhal will have any importance in the wars come? Actually, we can get right into it with this question. So I do think Harrenhal will have importance. So right now, what we know of Harrenhal is, first of all, the Lord of Harrenhal is Peter Baelish.
Boo.
He's Lord Paramount of the Riverlands.
Listen, that's not boo, because as the pattern goes with people who are Lord of Harrenhal,
They're cursed.
it's not boo.
Oh, no, I mean,
He gets fucked over big time.
I mean, it's just boo anyways, because anything like not even remotely positive for Littlefinger's is a boo for me.
He doesn't even
existence
want to
is a
be
boo.
there. He doesn't even want Harrenhal. Like, have you noticed how he kind of like when people are telling him to come take his seat at Harrenhal, he's kind of like,
Nope.
no, no thanks.
He doesn't strike me as a superstitious guy, but he also strikes me as like a too many
Pragmatic.
coincidences.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Harrenhal, I do think will have a part to play because I feel like it is one of the, like, it's been so paramount in a lot of things. Like with Aegon's conquest, it was where Black Heron fell. Daemon battled the one-eye kid, Aemon One-Eye. Daemon waited at Harrenhal for Daemon One-Eye, and they fought over the God's Eye. And I just feel like these legendary battles have happened at Harrenhal, outside of Harrenhal. So when we talk about the Riverlands, I think the two most important places in the Riverlands are the Trident and the God's Eye. So Harrenhal and then the Trident. But I mean, the entire
Harrenhal right off the banks off of the God's Eye.
Yeah.
I don't have my glasses on, so I'm not going
to
try to figure it out on the
It's
map.
at the North
right
Bank.
Over here.
Yeah, it's on the God's Eye. Like it's right there. So like, wasn't Black Heron, like when he constructed Harrenhal to be built, wasn't he like stealing weirwoods from the God's Eye to like construct his castle?
Let me Google that quick.
I wouldn't put it past
I feel
him.
like he was like fucking cutting weirwoods down left and right to build Harrenhal, like Harrenhal. And then like, of course he built it in stone, but when Daemon, one of my favorite quotes when it comes to the Dance of Dragons or in Fire and Blood is when Daemon is, yes.
The rafters of Harrenhal were weirwood.
Yeah. So
that's what I thought. I thought it was either like rafters or like a throne or something.
I was gonna say, so if it's not from the God's Eye, it could just be like wild weirwoods in the area.
Yeah.
Like in the foresty stuff. But anyways, besides the point.
Maud Mary says the God's Eye will be a major battleground.
Oh, speaking of that, I just want to shout this out real quick. I'm not sure how familiar anybody else is with this smoke screen. Chris, he had this great theory. It's a very extensive. He put it out like years and years ago. It's Dragon Raised by Wolves, but it has to do with his theory of like things going down at the God's Eye. And I'm gonna be honest, he's the first person I ever heard use the term weirwood net. So I want to give him the credit on that whenever I use it, because that's the first person I heard say it. But I believe if you have a chance, you might have to dig first, find that series. It's really good. But I think he's onto something with the weirwood net, like something happening with all the weirwoods, like that system being the key to kind of just either ending the stuff with the others and like kind of moving forward. Like there's something there. I don't know. Maybe Halloween Reed's just chilling there, just waiting to dump tea.
I don't know.
Halloween?
How this would be.
No, Halloween Reed.
Oh, I was like, Halloween.
Halloween Reed's just sitting
like
there
Michael
waiting
Myers?
for somebody. Halloween Reed is just sitting at the God's Eye waiting for somebody to show up so he can just give all this exposition and solve all the mysteries we've had.
I'm so lonely. Okay, I don't know what this would have to do with anything in the long game, but what if, speaking of the weirwood net, like let's say that their roots run underground all around the Riverlands. There are always these great battles in the Riverlands, which means blood, lots and lots of blood soaking into the grass. What if it's feeding these weirwoods? The roots, at least.
That's what I'm going with. Makes sense.
It could, totally.
Maybe
Doesn't
it's why
the
like
Ghost of High Heart have like some weird fucking quote.
Everything?
No. God damn it! No, no. She tells Arya like, no, not Arya. She tells Thoros like she's telling him some crazy shit, and she's like, look in your fires, pink priest, but not here though. Like you'll see nothing here, like, and she's talking about the old gods being weak but not gone, and she's like, because the roots recall the tree and the tree recalls the acorn and the acorn recalls the like she describes it basically as a life cycle, like that the trees basically never really fucking die ever,
right? And the stump remembers them all at the end.
Yeah, the stump remembers them all, and we know
think about that dream that Jamie has.
I was just
woke up using a weirwood stump as a pillow.
Well, and she has that whole ring of stumps.
Yep,
that she has at the top of the hill
when she comes waddling in talking about her dweens.
I knew you were gonna do it. I was like, oh, she's gonna go to the high heart voice.
I don't know if I'm gonna go like all out, but I'll do the list.
Quick shout out to Joe Magician. Joe says he didn't take any from the God's Eye, but he cut down tons from the area, but also built the largest Godswood in Westeros. So shrug. Yeah, I mean, that's probably why Harrenhal's so cursed, though.
I feel like there's like a lot going into that.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of,
but that's probably where it started at. Like, first
cutting down weirwoods.
You cut down weirwoods. Like, those are sacred to so many people. Yeah.
Okay, but I also feel like there would be a lot of cursed houses in Westeros because by the time Harren got around to building Harrenhal, I think the Andals had been there for quite some time. So the whole reason that the First Men and the Children of the Forest got into that war that they did was because the First Men were cutting down all of those weirwood trees, and quite a few houses descend from those First Men that were warring with the Children of the Forest. I don't know if the curse canceled out just because they had that pact. And a lot of them, it's believed they intermarried with the Children of the Forest, but I feel like there would have to be more to it that Harren the Black was doing, not just cutting down the weirwoods.
Yeah, not just, well, there's a lot more to it. So he was like killing people, kind of like Maegor, enslaving people to help build this ridiculous ass castle. And then like when Aegon came,
wait, can we just pause for a second? Can you imagine you had this big old project you've been working on for years and put in so much effort, so much money, so much time, like, yay, it's finally complete. And then some asshole shows up with his big ass dragon and burns that shit down the same day you finish. I'm so angry. I'm not saying Harren is a nice guy. I'm not saying he's a nice guy.
I was like,
at all.
Who's the asshole?
He's an asshole, but Aegon's an asshole too. I'm sorry. First of all, let's
table
that
that
for another conversation.
That people root for in Moss. I mean,
I guess, but you show up to my house the day I finish building it. I am gonna curse that land. Actually, as I'm dying and burning, I'm like, I'm cursing this whole building, so no one's gonna have it because I couldn't have it.
If
actually,
I
there it is.
Nice things, neither can you.
Yep, that's it. Harren the Black. It's confirmed. Harren the Black is the one who cursed Harrenhal because he said, if I can't have nice things, no one else can have nice things.
And he fucking told Aegon, like, you can't burn this. I built in stone. Stone doesn't burn.
And Aegon was like, hold my beer.
Yeah, Aegon's like, at when the sun goes down, your line will end. And I'm like, bitch.
Turn that into a whole outdoor pizza oven. It was insane.
Yes. He turned him into a pepperoni. A pepperoni pizza. Like, he was awful. Like, there's not very many Ironborn characters that I actually like. I'm not gonna lie. Except for,
I feel like you're not supposed to.
Except for Asha.
Asha, queen.
Yeah, like that's it.
I enjoy some of the Ironborn. Like, as cringe as it is, I enjoy Theon chapters because it's like pretty fly for a white guy Westeros edition. And I enjoy reading Victarion chapters because self-explanatory. he's just a moron with a big axe.
I honestly cannot wait to cover Victarion because I know you're gonna act like an asshole the entire time.
Oh yeah.
Like, I know it. And I'm here for it. But so right now with Harrenhal, like Jaime went there, and I think he put like some church people in charge of Harrenhal. Like, didn't he put like the church people in
like a Septon and Septas?
No,
some
like
church
the Holy 100. The Holy 100. Like, I think he put.
I believe so. Yeah.
He put the Holy 100 in charge, and I think there like he instilled a Castellan, but then like they're waiting for Littlefinger, and I don't think Littlefinger's coming. And I think one of my theories is that the Blackfish is going to pull up in the Vale and want to ask Littlefinger, like, excuse me, what the fuck is it that you did that made you Lord Paramount of the Riverlands?
Can we talk about this pull up? Because we were talking about it earlier before we went on.
Absolutely.
And me and Nim have some thoughts on who's pulling up on Littlefinger at this lovely tourney for, a place in Robin Aaron's Winged Knights. And I don't think Blackfish is going to be the only one.
Yeah,
I honestly think there's going to be a lot of people pulling up on Littlefinger, and I am wholeheartedly behind Lady Stoneheart sending some people, because please forgive me for not remembering if Catelyn knows Littlefinger is responsible for Ned, like partially responsible for Ned, but I wouldn't put it past her to figure that out by now.
Yeah, I would assume that she would know by now.
She would know by now. So she's definitely, and then finding out that he has her dad's title, and then apparently this mysterious daughter that she's never heard of that happens to be about the same age as her daughter that's also missing at the same time. I'm pretty positive she's like, yeah, y'all check that out. I'm gonna need a couple of you guys to go over there and see what's up. And I believe Sansa's gonna get publicly outed at that tourney. As like, I think Elaine's getting blown out. Like they're gonna be like, that's Sansa Stark.
What do you think the likelihood is that Blackfish might show up at the tourney? Kind of like, that Disney Robin Hood song with the fox that a bunch of people, for whatever reason, have like a crush on, even though he's an animated animal with weird ass nails. What we want.
Is that the crumb of pussy meme where he's got the cup?
I hate you sometimes.
Okay, but if you remember in the movie, okay, I was just thinking of Prince John. Aha.
I just can't.
Okay, hold on. I need a moment. It was a thought. Shut the fuck up.
Yes, that was perfect.
So while she gets herself together, I'm going to answer this super chat.
Wait, I'm ready. I'm ready. Do you remember when they were at that archery tournament? And he dressed up as a stork. Do you think the Blackfish will do something like that?
Oh my gosh, what if he pulls like a Night of the Laughing Tree, wins the whole thing, and is like, ha-ha, it's
This is not fucking a Blackfish we're talking about. Edmure might do that shit.
Nah, he's too clumsy.
The Blackfish, I don't think.
You think Edmure's going to win anything? He couldn't even fire an arrow at his dad's
He's
thing.
too serious.
Edmure cannot be taken. Edmure is like the Buster Bluth of the Tully family, I think.
He's kind of lame. Like, I'm not even gonna lie.
No, I've always said all of the Tully kids share one brain cell, and Edmure uses it the most often, which isn't saying much. But I don't. Yeah, he's like you said, he can't even shoot an arrow at his father's boat as it's floating away.
Can I just say that was one of my favorite scenes in season 2 is when Brendan's
the Blackfish is so disappointed. He's like, oh my God.
I love the Blackfish.
I love him.
So before we get into this tourney, let me answer Wisdom and Ari's super chat, and then we'll get back to the tourney because we got a lot. I got a lot. We want to know y'all got a lot. Y'all want to talk about that tourney. So thank you for the super chat, Wisdom and Ari. He says, what's the difference between Aegon and Harren the Black? They both wanted to conquer the continent. Both used steel and fire to do so. One just won.
Because one's hot and one's not. That problem solved.
One has dragons. No. One's a Targaryen and one's a Greyjoy. No, just kidding. I mean,
no,
technically, all of the great lords of Westeros are pieces of shit. Like, all of them. Harren, we just happen to know more of his backstory than we do Aegon's. We don't know anything about Aegon other than he came to Valyria with his dad, and then he started to conquer Westeros, but he was like offering them every chance to not like burn them on fire and stuff. So, I mean, I guess we just know that Black Harren is pretty fucking awful. Like, he just kind of like, instead of surrendering his castle, he's just like, all of my people can die. All of us die.
I mean,
Joe Magician says Harren is marginally worse for mass slavery.
And that.
Because by the time the Targaryens got to Dragonstone, I don't think they really had slaves. Either that or they had servants that they brought over from Valyria. but which I'm sure they did. But I can also see, just because they had Dragonstone as a stronghold for years before the Doom, I can also see there being a retinue at the castle already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have like this strong feeling in my gut that Aegon had like a Rhaegar moment where he either read something in a book or had some like weird prophetic dream and was like,
Yes.
I need to unite this place for a greater purpose. And I mean, it doesn't change anything. I think he's still an asshole. I think they're all assholes. Those weren't words, but yeah. No, because at the end of the day, like, you're pulling up to people's homes and like, this is my home now.
I think the thing is, like, he was just too chill once he got it. Like, I think that it's exactly like you said. I think something in a prophecy stirred him because he was just like, literally, he rolled up, and don't get me wrong, the consequences were dire, so I don't want to downplay how he was like, bend the knee or I'll kill you, by Dragonfire, which feels fantastic. So I think that he was just too chill about how he did it. Like, yo, you can keep your land, you can remain the leader of your land. Like, of course you'll have to pay taxes. Like, but the bottom line is, at the end of the day, you just have someone new to answer to, and that's me. Like, he sought to kind of unite the whole continent under him. And I'm not saying that's not ambitious, but if it were just a power grab, maybe he was just being smart, being like, realistically, I can't, like, I have to delegate responsibilities to each kingdom. But once he got the power, once he united the kingdoms, other than like constantly beefing with Dorne, he was just too chill once he got power. Like, I think he felt like he needed to unite the kingdoms for some like metaphysical reason.
I agree. I don't think it was just, oh, I have these dragons, I can do this just because I want to. Because if that was the case, like, they'd had dragons for years and years. They could have done it at any time, and they didn't.
The only one I see possibly being like that would be Visenya. Just because she seems like the super ambitious one out of all the three of the kids. And she's the eldest too. So I just feel like she just comes off like super like badass. And not only that, but she was very like, from my understanding of her, she seemed very on top of like his legacy and making sure his work didn't go undone.
Yeah. She was very smart.
She was very good she was a good manager. Like, I feel like she was, I don't know why I thought of like actors and singers and managers or anything like that, but she was like she was very executive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she very much, I was thinking about how when she pointed out that he needed an elite group of guards, and he's like, oh, I have good guards. And she pulled out her sword and cut his cheek. And she's like, your guards are slow and lazy. I don't know if she'd make a good ruler on her own, but she was definitely a driving force behind a good ruler, because I don't think Aegon was a bad ruler at all. But
yeah, actually, speaking of those
not
guards,
a bad ruler, just kind of an inactive one. And I would almost kind of liken him to Robert in that way, that they were good at conquest, and then once they won, they were like, okay, now what? And they just kind of did nothing.
Right.
We have another super chat from Jenna S. Thank you for the super chat. Do you think Winterfell will fall and the North survivors will fall back to Harrenhal? God's Eye, also excited to catch a live. Huge fan of you ladies. Thank you. Thank you, Jenna. I actually do think that Winterfell does actually fall, and I do think that the whatever battle is fought will be fought in the Riverlands. We see it in Dany's dream, where she's like on her dragon and she's riding to the Trident, and she's like, she sees the usurper's host, and the usurper's host is armored in ice, and then she bathes them in dragon fire. So honestly, I think it'll be something similar.
It makes more sense for everybody to gather within the Riverlands, just because traveling north during the winter is not easy. Like, the snows are already super high, so trying to get all those people to congregate north to Winterfell is kind of shenanigans. Like, I think the North is going to do their best to try to hold it on their own. They will fall and have heavy losses, and then just regroup with all the other people down in the Riverlands, because it's just easier. It's a central location. It's easier for people to travel to. So it just, in my opinion, makes sense. Like, to get people from like the south, east, west to just go there rather than having the people that have never traveled in the north in wintertime
Yeah.
to try to get through the neck. Like,
And it's already snowing.
yep. And then the waters are already dangerous. They've already been saying that. So it's like, it just makes sense for like the bigger battle, kind of like how the show did the Battle for Winterfell, where you had like Jaime, the Hound, like all those people up there. I think those people would be down in the Riverlands instead. Because figure they're already there.
I think the Hound does go north. Just because long before I became friends with Tony, like probably like 5 years ago, I was listening to Game of Thrones, and he guessed it on a Game of Thrones, and that was like the first time I had heard of Tony. And he was coming up with like, might have been even longer ago than that. I want to say it was like 5 years ago, but he was the first person I heard say that, like talking about parallels between the last hero going up. I think, yeah, the last hero going up north and with his 13 companions and his dog. And I remember Tony saying, I think the dog is going to end up being the Hound. And I was so mind blown in that moment. And then probably like 2 years later, the show did it. So I do think the Hound does go north. Maybe
Like
not
north of the wall.
Yeah, I don't think they're going on a white hunt per se. I think that was just kind of a show thing to simplify a lot of things. I think that the last or the Long Night episode ended at Winterfell to shorten and simplify things. I do think they end up in the Riverlands. There's just too much. It's just gonna be the Riverlands.
Since we're talking about the Hound, do we want to get into the Hound since we're on the subject? Because
yes,
real quick, just before we like deviate elsewhere, I had a thought.
Yeah, before we
deviating is what we do, though.
Yeah, we deviate because we have a lot of people to get through that we haven't really scratched the surface on yet. But with the Hound, what do you guys think will make him leave the Quiet Isle? Do you think it's gonna be? I think the show might have been onto something when they showed. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name. But the guy, he plays Odin in American Gods.
Oh,
McShane.
Ian McShane. Yeah. Tits and Dragons guy.
Was it Ray? I think his name's like Septon Ray or something
Brother
like
Ray.
that. Brother Ray. Thank you.
Yeah.
But like when the Hound's like, oh, I'm going to go get some wood for everybody. Let's go build this sept. And then everybody's all dead and whatnot. And he goes on a revenge tour. I could see that actually kind of being a reason why he leaves the Quiet Isle, just because there's been so many massacres in that area, even though the problem has kind of been resolved by Brienne a little bit. But I could see, just because there's so many outlaws, that might be what pushes him out to be like, all right, I try to change, but I get back in the game and I gotta kill some people.
Can I slightly rabbit trail a little bit and say that episode had one of my favorite quotes from a TV show ever, and it's when Brother Ray says, "Violence is a disease. You don't cure a disease by spreading it," and the Hound responds something like, "You don't cure it by being dead either." And it's like, oh, like who's right, who's wrong? However, I do see that happening, but I also think that if word spreads to the Quiet Isle that Sansa or Arya might need help, I think that would bestir him.
I was thinking Sansa might bestir him because their relationship in Clash and Sword, or their relationship when Sansa's in King's Landing, where like it's kind of a weird relationship, but I feel like you don't put two odd people together like that without bringing that back later, because I don't feel like there's been any payoff to that.
I was gonna say we get like the Hound and the Stark Girl part 2, but it's this time it's the Hound and Sansa.
Yeah.
So
traversing the Riverlands.
If Littlefinger does get, called out at this tourney, and he is killed off earlier than we expect, then Sansa would need someone to escort her wherever she's going, and that could be. But that had never really crossed my mind before. What I was thinking is the brothers, where all of the waste washes out to the ocean through the river, and things are like washing up there. It's not too far from where he is on the Quiet Isle.
Mhm.
And if like body parts start washing up on the
They
shores of the
have
Quiet
already
Isle,
been.
right? And if it continues while he's there, it might like he might feel like he needs to go back, especially if it's someone he knows.
I was thinking maybe it's a body that washes up that he's familiar with, and that
What if
being,
it's
like,
what if it's Lem and it's his helm? And his helm comes back to him.
Bitch.
Did you see my eye bug? I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
What if his helm comes
chill.
back to him?
I want that because he's like an old friend.
Right? And he's like,
I
I
think,
guess
like-
I'm meant to be the Hound again.
Because
Yeah,
aren't
treat
they
that as a
waiting for
sign.
aren't they waiting for like the 7th ruby of Rhaegar's to wash
Right.
up? So that could be a sign to him. Go ahead, Alicia.
Oh, I was just thinking about the dragon, the red dragon, the rusted dragon that washed up on the shore. And I think like if his helm washed up on the shore, he'd be like SpongeBob meme like, all right, I'm out. Like I think that would kind of like a combination of getting word about Sansa going north. I think he'll hear about that, but I don't know if it'll be a couple of things. I don't think he'd necessarily like hear like, oh, Sansa is going back north to reclaim her seat or her family's seat. I can just see him being like, oh, that's cool. But if he felt like she was in trouble,
Right. If he had found out what actually happened and why, because I'm looking at the map right now and like where everyone is like in relation to each other.
mm-hmm.
So the Brotherhood and Lady Stoneheart are near Fairmarket and Hagsmire, which is on the Blue Fork. And that runs straight down into Salt Pans, where Quiet Isle is.
Mm-hmm.
And Sansa is literally like just north of him.
Yeah.
So if she did try to leave, it would make sense to go through like by water.
Mm-hmm.
And Salt Pans is the closest port to where she is. So if they meet at the port in Salt Pans, she's leaving, he's coming.
Oh, he'll definitely. I guarantee if she's like, "Hey, I need help. I need a dog. So you trying to come over here?" He definitely would because that's his little bird.
Do you think he still has that Genki leg though? Like he'll still have that Genki limp by the time. Because here's the thing, like a limp isn't a deal breaker when it comes to like how you can swing a sword, but it gets in the way. Like if he were dealing with like mediocre level fighters, I don't think it would get in the way too much. But if he were dealing with like a Jaime Lannister type in their prime, he'd be in a fuck ton of trouble, which is why I don't think Clegane Bowl is happening, because it's like when it comes down to it, he's injured.
Or like a Brienne.
Do you know what I really want for the Hound? I like as much as I would love to see more of the Hound, I really like the idea of his story ending where he is, being the gravedigger, like at peace, because he's had a pretty fucked up life. He's done a lot of fucked up shit. And I feel like that is an ending that he deserves. As much fucked up shit as he's done, that is an ending he deserves.
I agree with you. I just really feel like he's going north.
I agree
I
with
think
you.
He is too. I think he is
but
too.
I just feel like something's gonna call him back.
Yeah, and Ara and I are Pisces. Like where two Pisces agree. It's canon.
Open their third eye. It's happening.
Yeah,
there's a comment from Maud Mary that said, "Wouldn't it be lovely if Sansa was saved by the Nymeria's wolf pack, some way, some way?" And Nymeria was the one that brought her. That would be awesome. I would love to see that.
I actually have thoughts.
So her not having Lady return to her in a whole pack.
Wouldn't it be great if Nymeria saved Sansa as Arya was warging her?
That would be
how she rescued Cat from the water. Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Nymeria and Arya warging, I'll probably go into this a little bit more when we get to Arya, but believe Lady Stoneheart and the Brotherhood are going to encounter Nymeria wolf pack. They've been leaving way too many bodies in the same area that they're eating in for them not to bound to run into each other at some point.
The wolf pack should just follow them around like free fucking food. Like
They
free
might
food.
as well.
I
But
got this
think,
image of like, you know how wolves like more like lumber when they walk. Oh god, they're so majestic. I don't know why, but when you said follow Lady Stoneheart around, I was thinking of that little like puppy trot that some like champ still does, the little puppy trot.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
You're good.
It was more funny in my head.
We have a super chat real quick I want to get to from Reflective Rambling. Crystal James asked a question. Thank you, Reflective Rambling. After all these wars, do you think the Riverlands will basically disintegrate? No, I don't. I don't. It's
might be hard to like, I don't know, plant
like
shit.
are you saying like if there's like a second Hammer of the Water type of event?
I think she means after all these wars, like what if it would help if she clarified in the chat, but I think what she means is like, do you think they're even going to try to put towns and castles and all that other shit there anymore?
Well, because
it is
Tyrion
fertile-
already
it's
had the whole
fertile
thing
land.
burned.
But it's fertile
Yeah.
land, like.
But yeah, what Nim was just saying, Tywin had the land burned, so and winter's here, so are they even going to be able to like?
Well, sometimes
recover
burning
inside?
helps the soil.
Right. It gives
if
you
it's a
lots of
medicated
nutrients
burn,
from the
but,
yeah.
Now,
But
if
I
he
mean,
did some
definitely not before
Targaryen shit,
winter.
like if he did some
Yeah.
Targaryen shit where they like salt the fields with lime and shit, then it's dead.
Sounds like a margarita.
What did the Targaryens do? Salt fields, lime fields. So
Salt
they did
fields.
something to the
Salt.
Salt.
Pyrenees. Jenna says a
Born
little
amid
off
smoke and
topic.
salt.
So thank you for the super chat, Jenna. Little off topic. So feel free to save for later, but can you explain your thoughts on Jaime dying in the Riverlands with Lady Stoneheart, or will they see the Great War versus the others? I constantly go back and forth. So we'll circle back to this question. Because I want to go back to the tourney because I feel like it's such a big. So we know that Sansa is having this tourney. Basically, it's her idea. And yes, Alicia.
Wouldn't that be like a veil scraps thing?
We combined the Riverlands with the Vale.
Yeah.
Was
Silly
this
goosey.
was this okay? I was gone 1 week plus 3, and you guys make all these.
Well, we're talking
Adjustment.
about. So we're talking about all of these Riverland characters that are going to this tourney
To the Vale.
in the Vale.
Fair. Okay, continue.
Okay, so Sansa's putting on this tourney. Well, it was her idea. It's Sweet Robin's tourney, and he's trying to find these Falcons of the Vale,
The
like to
Winged
have
Knights.
the Winged Knights to have his own personal guard. And there's going to be a tourney. So we know the last tourney that we saw that was huge was the tourney of the hand. And we saw how many people came out to that tourney. Like, I mean, that was a king's
From
tourney and this
everywhere.
is a lord's tourney, but still, we have so
The
many
money.
people, the money, and we have so many people close to that tourney. So the Vale is right next to the Riverlands, and they're not up in the Eyrie anymore. They've came down from the Eyrie because it's winter. So we have the Blackfish. Now, the Blackfish used to be like the lead guard. Wasn't he like the, what is that?
The Bloodgate?
The
Bloodgate.
Bloody Gate.
Moon Bloodgate.
So
For
he
a
was, like,
long
the lead
time.
for a long time. So
Yeah,
he
the
is
whole
a
time
lot.
that
Lysa
Lysa was there.
right. So he
So he has a
knows a
lot of
lot of those
connections.
people. He knows a lot of those people that are there. So these soldiers have never been to war. They've never bestirred themselves.
I was gonna say that actually makes a good point for him to go, like after he leaves Riverrun, for him to go to the Vale and hide over there because one, they've been uninvolved in the war.
They'll hide him.
They'll hide him because they know him and they like him.
And like, does he know Lysa's dead? Does
He has to.
I believe so.
He
Everyone knows. Well, I mean, I feel like it's yes, because if King's Landing knows, like Lysa died how far toward the end of Storm or midway through Storm?
Towards
Toward the end. Yeah. So it's been like just because dance and feast happen simultaneously, I'll just say it's been a book since it happened, but I'm pretty sure it's common knowledge by now that she's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's say so I'm thinking like he's in a castle that's under siege. He really doesn't fucking know shit. He doesn't really know anything. But sure, he's probably getting ravens from like the Blackwoods and other people as well. But
it's his niece, so I would have figured a raven would have definitely went to Riverrun at her death because it's her family's home.
Crystal James clarified their question about the Riverlands disintegrating. They said, I meant politically in terms of being habitable after the destruction, especially if the White Walkers are going to make it all the way down there.
Of course I knew that's exactly what she meant.
Yeah, I think the Riverlands will still be inhabitable. I think Bran will either rule from the God's Eye or Winterfell. Like I don't think it would be King's Landing.
Makes no sense. I think actually King's Landing will get disintegrated by the end of this.
Yeah, King's Landing.
Anybody's going to be uninhabitable, I think it's going to be there.
Yeah. So I had the Blackfish going to the Vale. I feel like he's gonna want to pick a bone with Littlefinger because I'm like, okay, Littlefinger, you've taken my brother's position. Like my brother raised you. What did you do for the Lannisters to give you this position? Like, what did you do? And then so we have that. Also, that's the only other place that he really has to go unless he tries to go north. But what does he know of the North right now? Like Roose Bolton has Winterfell. As far as he knows, Arya's dead and Sansa's dead. As far as he knows, Kat's dead.
And it doesn't. Again, it's wintertime. It doesn't make sense to travel north. That'd be.
Yeah, it's already snowing. It's already snowing in the Riverlands.
And he doesn't have a relationship with Jon. The only other thing I was thinking of was possibly like trying to rescue Edmure or Jane Westerling, but without a proper like retinue. Like it doesn't make sense. So honestly,
I think the Brotherhood
going to the I think that is going to be the Brotherhood and Cat, but we'll get to that in a second. But
right, because I do think that because we've kind of okay. I'm so sorry, I just cut you off. Go ahead, Ara.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say with the tourney, also with Littlefinger, his niece died not long after he got there and married her, and then is now regent for her son. So not only do you have the Riverlands, you also are now Warden of the East.
Right. So you have his brother's title and his sister's title. Like, I mean, his niece's title.
So what did you do? Yeah, no, the Blackfish is coming to pick a bone with him. Like that is, he's going to pull up on him. And again, he has tons of friends in the Vale. Most of the lords in the Vale do not like Littlefinger. So you know damn well they're going to open their doors to him.
I want Sir Cobre to kill him, to kill Littlefinger. Go ahead, you guys.
I was going to say, Brendan has to know that Liza would never just kill herself and leave Robin alone.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely, when he gets word, if he's gotten word, he's definitely going to put 2 and 2 together about what happened. It's way too much of a coincidence. Like, but yeah, bones will be picked and broken, hopefully.
Go ahead, Mandy.
And the Blackfish seems smart enough to not be like very going in there like guns blazing, knocking people over with everything. I think that he's gonna go in and kind of like with a plan, you know, to let everyone know like exactly what's gone on and kind of expose them. And Ara and I were talking earlier about the members of the Brotherhood because she thought that one of the members of the Brotherhood Without Banners was going to the tourney. And I thought so too. And so we started looking at all the members of the Brotherhood Without Banners, past, present, and their allies and sympathizers. And we saw that Angry, the archer, who won the archery competition at the Hand of the King's tourney in King's Landing. No one knows where he is. He's just disappeared. And so we think that he might be on the way to this tourney because, everyone knows there's money at tourneys, and the Brotherhood Without Banner is always looking for money. And he knows he's a good archer and he'll probably win. But he has seen Sansa and he has seen Littlefinger. And they've both seen him because they were watching from the stands while the tourney was happening. And he won, so it was like a big deal. Everybody knows who he was. And so I think that he is going to recognize her as well. And that's like going to spill the beans before the Blackfish has his chance to like carry out his plan.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I was just going to ask a question. What do you think about the prologue of Winds? I know we've talked about this being from Jean Westerling's point of view or Sybil Spicer's point of view.
Sybil.
And it's Sybil. And the Brotherhood Without Banners like interfering in them taking Edmure to Castle Rock. So that's like I don't know how far they would be into the Riverlands, but like they would have to go through the gold tooth or whatever.
Yes. And so
my thing was that because figure Catelyn's running the show. Catelyn, as much shit as I give her, she is politically savvy for the most part. And I feel like with death, there's that, resurrection. She doesn't have that nuance, like, I got to do, be polite to people. Like, that shit's gone. That's gone out the window. She doesn't care. So I think for her, she has people going in all different directions. Because figure, we know Thomas Sevens is at Riverrun.
Mm-hmm.
So I guarantee she sent him there for a reason to scout. I believe Anguy, the arrow archer guy, I believe him and a few others. I believe Ned Dane being amongst them because Ned Dane is a lord.
Mm-hmm.
So that adds like a little, to his arrival. They can get a better room with Ned being there than just him. I mean, even though, he like won another tournament, but you go in with a lord and they can just go as Ned's escort for the tourney and like kind of cover it up a little bit. So I believe some of them will be heading there, and then like the other like a bigger chunk going to rescue Edmure and Jane Westerling, just because they have a lot of allies, a lot of members, and they've just been picking up more and more people as the war has kind of like somewhat resolved itself, the War of the Five Kings. So I just feel like, they're kind of dividing and conquering, and Kat's like, all right, I'm gonna need a couple of you guys to go over here and figure out what the heck's going on, because she's Littlefinger's there. She has a bone to pick with him. Like, she's on a revenge tour. So I could see her sending people to kind of infiltrate where her enemies are.
But do you think they could all pull up together? Like they could all wind up at this tourney? Because you're going to need
maybe not all of the Brotherhood, but a good chunk of them.
I feel like they're going to need a lot of people, because what we really don't talk about is that since the Blackfish is not the head of the Bloody Gate, like the mountain clans have been getting crazy, and they're growing like wilder and wilder, and like they're bold as fuck right now.
And they have the weapons from Thailand.
And the people at the Bloody Gate don't look to Littlefinger as like,
no one in the Vale likes
you're
him.
someone we want to follow. So as soon as Brendan shows up and says,
it's going to be a coup,
exactly what happened, they're going to say, yeah, we believe you. We know you. We believe you. And also, this guy's a piece of shit. So,
and even
they're not going to need very many people.
And even though the Blackfish has never seen Sansa, it's always stated how much Sansa looks like Cat.
Right.
Yeah, I think they're going to all piece it together, and he's going to be like, I know you don't have a kid. Like, I've known you your entire life, and I knew you at that age. I know you don't have a kid. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's going to come out. I'm in my heart believing that his covering up of Sansa is going to get exposed there. Yeah. And again, nobody likes him there, so that's just like an easy setup to get rid of him.
It really is. He's stupid.
Like, I would love,
he's stupid. He should take his ass to Harrenhal.
I would love for them to detain him until Cat pulls up in Lady Stoneheart form Because just imagining, like, he has obviously this romanticized image of Cat. He imagines Sansa is Cat sometimes, or his like daughter with Cat. So just like this fantasy he has of her, and then just seeing her like decrepit corpse, fleshy milk thing with like I think that would just be like, oh,
You mean Edric
just
Storm's
imagine.
jam?
Yeah, Edric Storm's jam. I feel like I could only imagine how George would write that. It would just be so good, like the horror on his and Sansa's face, seeing her again. Like,
Yeah, I would love that.
I want it.
I do too. I would want her to like just choke Littlefinger to death with one hand, like bitch. But
And see, I feel like Sansa has grown so much as Elaine that she also like she's kind of using Littlefinger back at this point because he's keeping her safe, and that's all she really needs him for.
yeah,
and I think that once Edmure shows up, not Edmure, the Blackfish shows up and all this shit goes down, she's going to be like, so I knew that was happening and also fuck you. So I think Sansa's going to get her, and how do you answer for this Lord Baelish moment just a little differently and way sooner.
Yeah, the Ghost of High Heart kind of foreshadowed it. She said, I see the same maiden, which was the maiden from Joffrey's wedding. She says, I see the same maiden slaying a savage giant in a castle made of snow. So I think she's definitely going to be the one to kill Littlefinger.
I still think it could be Tormund's dick.
So we have some super chats.
We all want to slay Tormund's dick. Calm down.
All of us.
I'm going to answer some of these super chats really quick. We have a super chat from Fernando. Thank you for the super chat. Would you girls want Sansa to end up Lady of the Eyrie by starting a family with Harold because maybe he turns out to be a nice guy? I don't think he's going to turn out to be a nice guy.
No, he's going to turn out very
dead.
dead guy. He's going to be a very dead guy.
He's going to like it.
Nim
Like I don't
convinced me
know
he's
if you've
dying.
ever seen.
Yeah, young Falcon. Yeah.
I think he's going to try to take advantage of her.
Yeah,
And
but I do think she will end up Lady of the Eyrie. I do co-sign, but I also anytime you add young in front of somebody's nickname, that's just a death sentence. If you hear young XYZ, they're dead. Just
the young dragon, the young wolf. Yeah.
The young falcon, yeah, he's dead.
Wisdom and
Young
Art,
Griff.
thank you for the super chat. Hard to get through the mountains now, thanks Tyrion. Isn't it already snowing in the Vale? I don't know if anyone could make it through without strong force. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Go ahead, Alicia.
Isn't it snowing like up? Like
Up in the
I know
Eyrie.
it's not hospitable up in the Eyrie. Like they had to leave and go to little.
So wait,
back down to
technically
the
isn't
ground.
it snowing
Mountains
in
of
the
the Moon,
Eyrie? I was like, technically isn't it snowing in the Eyrie and not in the Vale because the Vale's the valley part?
Yeah,
And
they
then Eyrie's
moved
the
But
down.
the
mountain
mountains
part.
of the moon leading to the Vale.
Mm-hmm.
It
They
could be.
moved. Yeah, they moved down because it was going to soon be impassable.
Yeah.
But anywhere, it's winter anywhere, so it's definitely going to be hard to move around anywhere they go. Unless you have a dragon. We have a super chat from Maud Mary. Love these discussions so much. Sundays are great for me. Love all of you ladies so much. Thank you, Maud Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have another super chat from Cyclops is better than Wolverine. Thank you for the super chat. Do the BWB, Brotherhood without banners, have enough men to save Edmure, though?
I would
think
rather
so.
address his screen name.
Yeah, I was like,
I think that needs to be discussed before anything else. I feel like that
Mad
screen name
rude.
is just a trap.
Yes.
It's meant to.
The Wolverine is my favorite fucking X-Men character.
Cyclops is
And a
like,
But
kid named
Cyclops
Logan.
is better than him.
like I'm not trying to
Mad
throw
rude.
shade. I'm doing this on the assumption that you're trolling with your screen name. Good
I mean,
sir.
the
But I
only,
do think
the only
they have
thing I
enough.
would give that Cyclops is better than Wolverine is if we're talking about like James Marsden versus Hugh Jackman.
They're both delicious. So
And this is where I'm going to put it. If we're looking at the greatest showman, Hugh Jackman versus Hairspray James Marsden, then yes, Cyclops is better than Wolverine. And that's the only circumstances that this works. Okay. Anyways.
yeah,
But I do think that they have enough men to save Edmure because Jamie
Gray's like back to Game of Thrones.
Back to A Song of Ice and Fire.
Okay, she correct. Okay.
We'll talk about this later, Ara.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, guys. Talk about it.
So
I don't
it's
think
okay.
they're
We're back
gonna
to
need-
A Song of Ice and Fire.
I think they
I don't
do
think
have
they're
enough
gonna
men.
need. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna need very many.
Yeah, Jamie thinks he's good. Like Jamie thinks that like I'm doing this good thing. I'm sending him here. He's gonna be happy. The Westerlings are gonna be happy. These people are gonna be happy. He's not even thinking about it. And then Jamie has disappeared to go save somebody, so it's not like he can even send backup or anything. Go ahead.
What
Alicia.
is
Hold
it
on.
they say
It looks
on
like
the
Nims is
show?
having. I was saying Nims having a brain blast. Nims having a brain blast.
However, I'm gonna retract because at the last minute, Jamie doubled the guard from 200 to 400.
Around Edmure?
Yes.
Listen, they just need 10 good men to impregnate the bitch.
But what if? But once Jenna Lannister finds out that Jamie disappeared while on his way back to
Right.
Riverrun, will she then call those people back? Like, we need you to go find Jamie.
Oh, they'll
Okay.
probably send them like hunting parties, search parties. But I was gonna say, I think they might be able to get them by picking people off as they're going, like just slowly start picking out people like on the way, like on the march. Cause like that's their jam is like picking off stragglers, like slowly just like one by one grabbing them. And then again, we still have this wolf pack that's hanging around in the area.
The wolf
And-
pack.
I have a little theory. I think Arya is going to warg into Nymeria at some point during one of her little wolf dreams. And I think that's when she's going to see her mom ski is alive-ish. And that's what's going to start motivating her to come back. But knowing her mom is there, I think she's going to be like, okay, maybe I need to be a little bit more active in these dreams. And quite possibly be warged into Nymeria. Or she could be warged into Nymeria while they're picking off the wolf. Like, the escort.
You need to make a fucking theory video.
I know.
Like,
I know.
what are
I'm
you
working on
doing?
it. I'm
Like,
working on
what
it,
are you doing
guys.
right now?
I got a whole board
That
that's
makes
like a lot
so
of
much
ideas.
sense. That makes so much sense because George has said, like, you do not create this big wolf pack just to like leave it out there and just hang it on the wall. So he's definitely has a plan for it. And the plan definitely could be to, like join in the fight for the others. But really, what can the wolves do against the others other than they could fight the whites? But what can they really do against the White Walkers? Nothing.
Yeah.
Fight.
But they would make a big impact if they started killing Lannister soldiers.
Mm-hmm. Like Arya and her mom do like a team up. Like, oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I
like,
love
Mom, I'm
that,
gonna help
Ara.
you before I get back. I'm like, Mom, I got you until I get back.
I love that
Teamwork.
theory. Make a video.
I should. I'll write it down.
Should we address this blasphemous super chat
Read it, Alicia.
from Emily Christina? Thank you so much, Emily Christina. I think that Sansa will either die or not go back to Winterfell because Lady died. Not sure how though. What do you think? I
How's
think
that
not in my
blasphemous? I
house.
agree.
I agree.
How's
too.
that blasphemous? I agree with it.
Listen, I just really think that the show got some
Alicia
things right.
loves Sansa.
I love Sansa. I think that she listen.
I like
Two
Elaine.
things.
I like Elaine.
Listen, Sansa is growing up. Like, first of all, we were all insufferable when we were 13, 14 years old. Like,
I
who
love Elaine.
among us? Okay. But I mean, I think that everything she's going through is not in vain. So
I will say Sansa has grown up and changed as a person, but so in George's original outline, let's talk about it. I know a lot has changed about that outline. So spoilers, if you've never read this original outline, don't worry. A lot has changed.
is
But
it a spoiler if it's not canon?
I don't know.
Well, we don't know if it's not canon.
We don't know.
Well, kind of.
All the people on that outline that were supposed to survived except for Dany.
And
Dany and Sansa were swapped. So initially on that outline, the 5 survivors were Tyrion, Bran, Jon, Arya, and Dany.
Bored.
And in the show, Sansa survived and Dany died.
Boo.
I do think there is a lot of symbolism around Sansa dying, and it is all in the first book where he wrote that outline. So if he changed his mind, yes.
So I know that there might be some content creators out there that are like, you don't know what to talk, just shut up. I think that along with when George wrote in that Meraxes was the biggest of the 3 dragons, that was retconned. I think that Tyrion is this acrobatic little gremlin.
He said he never put that
do.
shit in there.
Exactly. It's like, what if he wrote in that Lady died and he was like, oh shit, son, like, what if it's just Lady dies? Because to me it's like, I can't quite, with all my theory crafting, with all the times I've read the books, all these years later, to me there's no fitting symbolism to Lady dying, aside from the fact that he kind of, at some point when he was writing Game, I think he did kind of intend for Sansa to go the outline route, and then he's like, nah, and it's too late, Lady's dead. Like, he just decided to keep that in there. Like, I think Lady's just dead and it ain't that deep.
It's
like,
not, but it's not
actually,
just
I was gonna
Lady.
say,
Go
I
ahead,
think
Ari.
my
Go ahead, Ari.
personal belief on why Lady died, which you can see in the Obsidian Nights episode I did with Gray on that. I personally believe Lady died as like the symbolism behind it being that was Sansa's lesson, well, first lesson, and this is what happens when you betray your family. The people you love die.
Yeah.
Because that's the first time she betrayed her family. She lost Lady. Second time she betrays her family, she loses her dad and her entire fucking household. And her sister, essentially, because she pretty much, no one knows where Arya is, realistically. So she thinks she's dead. On top of that, her whole family in her eyes is dead. So I think this next go round, when like the Blackfish comes up to the tourney, is going to be kind of that deciding factor for her, where it's like, all right, I know that's my uncle. I know that's my blood uncle. Do I take his side and depose Littlefinger, or do I stand behind Littlefinger? And I think that's going to be the critical choice for her character. So if she goes with Littlefinger, I'm marking her as dead. If she takes up for the Blackfish, I feel like she's finally redeemed herself for her betrayal of her family, and will live.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got.
My reasoning for her dying isn't just about Lady's death. And I don't necessarily think that she's going to die. I just don't think she's going to come back to Winterfell. I think it's very possible that she could die. Because there's a Bran chapter early in the Game of Thrones, and it's when they're bringing Lady's body back to Winterfell, and he talks about all the Southerners going south and never returning home, and he talks about Sansa going south and his dad going south and Robb going south, and Robb and his dad never come back. Yes, Alicia.
Hear me out. Jonza.
She has to do it.
Away.
She has to troll. Like, she just trolls us, guys.
I'm so glad you didn't say Sansan earlier. I thought that was coming.
I thought it was coming too.
But hear me out. Jonza. It's a possibility. I'm not saying
no.
Speaking of Jon.
Listen, hear me out. It's gross, but there are advantages.
Oh, there are, but I feel like for them, they won't unsee that as their sibling. Like, even though we know, and they might find out, like, John's not your sibling. It's there. I think in their head, they're gonna be like, no, that's still.
It's Game of. Listen, do you remember that episode we were talking about Oberyn, and you guys were? I was like calling you guys sick bitches, and you're like, he's not my uncle. Listen. They're not my siblings. Make it work. they're not siblings.
They're not
I'm just
siblings.
saying, there
They're
are
cousins.
political. Listen, I'm not saying I'm sold on it. I'm not saying it isn't gross, but there are advantages. I felt like Moira Rose in that moment. There are advantages. It would make sense.
I mean, there are advantages, but when they're the ones that are dictating their marriages, I don't see it. Like if they had like parents to match them up.
What are the advantages? Like politically, what's the advantage of Jon marrying Sansa?
If Jon becomes like Warden of the North and then she becomes Warden of the East, then they hold like two big ass.
Not only that, they don't have to fight about Winterfell.
Politically, the best marriage for Jon is Dany. I know it's his aunt,
but Dany is going to die.
No shit.
Enough of you. Moving on.
I'm about to mute her ass.
Moving on. So John Pierce's super chat. Thank you.
Thank you for the super chat, John Pierce. First time donator to you, Gray. But I enjoy your content. Figured I'd do an appreciation. LOL. You are all very insightful and hitting the big points. Roll some dro, y'all. Thank you, John.
After this.
We have another super chat from Tranquil Ashes. Thank you for the super chat. Do you think Sansa will warg in wins?
Can I
Alicia?
answer this? Yes,
you can.
She will warg into Jon's pee-pee so that it can get up after he comes back to a second. Like, listen. How is Jonsa more gross than Daenerys? I need to know.
I think they think because they didn't grow up as siblings.
Both gross.
But okay, I'm
just gonna turn my camera off when I'm done with you. Bye.
I'm turning my camera off. So.
I think Sansa will not warg. I would love to see Sansa like warg some birds or something like that. Like there's a lot of birds symbolism around Sansa, but George has said that all of the Stark children can warg. And I think when Sansa has that dream of Lady, like Sansa just didn't have Lady long enough.
Right.
Yeah, I can see her doing like
I think
kind of
we
like
discussed her warging birds before, didn't we?
Yeah, in their Sansa episode.
Yeah.
Check that out if you haven't seen it yet.
And we also have another super chat from Maud Mary. Maud Mary says, also, don't forget that Lady died as a sacrifice so Nymeria could live. Yes. Like a lot of the Stark children, their deaths mirror their direwolves. But in the books, it's only Rob so far.
And Lady's just dead and we don't know what's happening with Sansa yet.
Yeah, Lady's just kind of dead. So, yeah, we both think, webcams, hot girls and boys, let's block this person.
Told you the naughty
there's
bots.
Someone in the chat that thinks
they're out there.
There's someone in the chat that thinks that Ara and I don't like each other or something.
Oh, we love each other. I'm just silly.
We all love each other.
I love the way people have their own headcanon about what goes on behind the camera. Like that one chick that like has a boner for me in the comment section on every YouTube. She's like, I'm so glad that they shut her down and she gaslighted Gray Area and it's Joe. Man,
we have another super chat and it's from John Pierce. Thank you for the super chat. He says, I wish I knew everyone's name, but I am new. Bottom left, my girl hitting big good thoughts. Y'all haters. He's talking about you, Alicia. Your bottom left.
The Alicia fan.
It's an Alicia fan.
Thank you so much. It's about time I had one.
I am a hater. No, hear me. I am a hater, but thank you.
Yeah, I'm my own biggest hate. No, I love myself.
No, we love each other. We talk every day, all day in real life.
Sorry. The comment you just pulled up, Amira.
Yes.
Amira? I hope I'm saying that right.
Maybe one's Amira.
Probably. Okay, my little brother's middle name is Amir, so it's Amir. So in my head, that's just Amir. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but Sansa's probably gonna ward crows. She has a gift for gossip.
I love that. She spilled the tea.
Sansa's gonna make Westeros TMZ.
Wisdom and Ari, thank you for the super chat. Wisdom says, Danny likes brash, dangerous men. John is a good boy. He's dutiful like Quentin. He's brooding and moody, but he's no Khal Drogo or even Dario. That's true, John now, but she's gonna meet John post resurrection.
Post wolf life, John is going
I
to be very
really,
different.
I really want him to become like his uncle Brandon.
Ooh.
And
Yeah,
I'm
wild wolf.
Can I like actually get on a little Brandon tangent while my
Yes.
thoughts are on it?
Yes.
Because I also want to talk about
Yes.
Jane Westerling and her stinky mom. Since we're in the Riverlands, I can't stand Sybil. She's stinky. But
She's stinky.
if Catelyn was doing her job as her mom, she would have reminded her son that his uncle Brandon was taking virginities and not marrying people. So you should have thought about that.
Okay, but we are progressive in
That was
this,
it. That
in
was
this
that.
podcast.
Put it on a bow. I think Rob
Who
should have been
among
like his
us has
uncle.
waited till marriage? I mean, come on.
No, but you know what I mean? Like if that was the case, like imagine if Brandon was like, oh, well, I took Barbary Dustin's, V card. I have to marry her now. Sorry, Mr. Tully. Your daughter is just going to have to find someone new. Like, that sounds so stupid. And you're in war. That's even like stupider. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, with that being said, Sybil Spicer, my money's on her in the prologue. I want the prologue to be Sybil because I
Me
want her to
too.
die.
Me too.
So badly.
I need her to go.
Miss
I
Mary
actually
Jones, what
don't
were
want her
your
to be-
questions from earlier?
Oh,
I can't see everything. Like the chat moves really fast on my side, so I can't see like every question. So just put it in the chat and I'll get to it. Go ahead.
Okay,
What if
but I don't want
Nymeria
her to
eats
be-
Sybil?
Okay, so I want her to die in the prologue. I just don't want her to be the point of view because I want to see that whole thing, not just lights out. I am bloodthirsty for Sybil, if that makes sense. Anyway, I would love to actually see through the eyes of the point of view of like what happens to her, not just point of view lights out.
This
And
is
Miss
a
Man
good.
Jones,
Yeah,
yes,
that's a
it
good
is.
question.
It is warranted. Know why? Because Greywind didn't like her, and anybody Greywind doesn't like, I don't like.
And it's not that just that she was trying to make sure her house survived the fall of the Starks. She was a key factor in the fall of the Starks.
Not only that, but she seemed to like not only give zero fucks that her daughter was in mourning, like what it emotionally did to her daughter, but she proceeded to be abusive with her daughter
Yeah.
after that. So Sybil Spicer can go fuck herself. And I would say...
And she was feeding her moon tea without her knowing. And not only that, but like, obviously, I don't know, and I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything about reproductive systems, but I think constantly giving your young teenager moon tea regularly will not be the best for her reproductive system overall in the future.
Right,
if
she had conceived, we all talk about how fucked up Hoster is because he forced an abortion on his daughter. Like if Jane had conceived, even if it was just like, a couple days after implantation, without your daughter's consent, without her knowing, you forced an abortion upon her. It's just fucked up. I think Sybil's just a fucked up person.
Jaime Lannister doesn't really give a fuck about anybody. And if the way he hates Sybil, that should tell you about Sybil. So there's people in the chat. The
Tansy T, thank you.
The Thor is saying, what's up with the logistics of the Spicer betrayal? It's kind of foggy. And then right under that,
Adrian Welchel, Sybil Spicer was a shitty. Yeah, she is.
B Swim said, go back over what Sybil did. Damn, I forgot. So anybody want to take it?
So Sybil was essentially feeding. I'll do part of it and you take the rest. So
I'll be your hype man.
So she's giving her daughter, Jane Westerling, who, nursed Rob back to health, and that involved sleeping with him. So she was giving her Tansy tea. I was corrected. Thanks, guys. Which essentially just is kind of like a plan B, if you will, for Westeros. She was working with Tywin. She was in cahoots with him, essentially, like to make sure like Rob did not conceive an heir with her daughter, like at all. Like that was like not on the table. And they knew what was coming at the Red Wedding, which is why they kept their daughter behind, because they didn't want her to get, clapped in the onslaught. But It's kind of the Sparks Notes version.
Not to mention the fact that she kind of did she know her son was going to be at the Red Wedding? Reynald? Yeah, Reynald, right? That's
Yeah,
his
because
name?
she's still asking for Reynald. She's like, "Where's Reynald?" And Jamie's
Right.
like, "That boy
She
dead."
thought that
Like,
they would she thought that they would keep him safe somehow. But
Like that moment when your dumb bitchery costs you a fucking child.
But my thing is with Sybil is that it goes back further than just Rob. So Sybil Spicer is the granddaughter of, is she the granddaughter or daughter of Maggie the Frog?
Granddaughter.
She's the granddaughter of Maggie the Frog. And Maggie the Frog just so happened to taste Cersei's blood and find out that Cersei would be queen, Cersei's children would die, and then I guess she saw like that there was gonna be another more powerful queen, whatever. But in those prophecies, she never saw Rob as a king. So I feel like Maggie told her family these things. Like, this is something that she passed down. Like, yes, Cersei Lannister will be queen one day. Her children will be after her. And so always support the Lannisters. And I feel like they knew that Rob's cause was lost. They knew that.
Until it's essentially like until a female opposition comes against Cersei and the Lannisters, just back them. And again, I'm gonna be honest, Tywin is scary as hell. And that's their liege lord. And at the end of the day, technically speaking, Rob was a rebel. So she was doing her duty by supporting her liege lord and the king.
Yeah, but
technically, however, once you kind of change sides a little bit, you gotta stick in that pot.
But that's the thing. Like, I don't feel like Sybil is, even if she were super smart, to bank on, like, obviously to bank on the phrase abandoning Rob as a result of marrying her daughter seems a little too good. And I just don't think Sybil is that good. So I just think like her throwing Jane Rob's way is yet another fucked up factor of her being like, honestly, I think that Sybil is no different than Cersei as far as how she views her kids. And I mean that, yep, narcissistic sort of, not unconditional love, but narcissists love their children as an extension of themselves. And that's not love. So.
Mandy?
Since we're talking about Jane and Maggie the Frog, did we ever discuss the possibility of Melisandre being Maggie the Frog? And my little theory about that?
Oh my god.
No, but can you get into it?
Let's go.
Fire,
and then after
baby.
that, and then after that, we're gonna get into the Ghost of High Heart.
Yes.
Two
Witchy.
characters in the entire series have been described as having a heart-shaped face. Melisandre and Jane Westerling. And I was reading about, like Shira Seastar or something at the time. But I started looking at like Mel and like how old like she could possibly be. And we don't ever like hear anything from Maggie the Frog again, but we know she's not above blood magic because she sucks on Cersei's finger and gets her blood to tell her. So the blood connection and then the heart-shaped face, it made me think that Mel might be Maggie the Frog. And I know that we had discussed her being, the little girl north of the wall, but we don't know how long ago that was, so why not?
She could do all of it.
Yeah, why not?
Shapeshifter, Shadowbinder from Ashai.
Well, figure she uses a glamour, so
the glamour magic, right?
Yeah. I would say that would be an interesting theory. I would have to look at the timeline logistically to see where Mel would have been when Cersei. Well, we don't really know because in Melisandre's POV, it's kind of like, oh, I was a slave and then I was here and now I'm here. Like, we don't even know what it was that made Melisandre come to Stannis. Like, I just think it was the dragon castle, the Dragonstone castle, but I don't really, like, we don't really know what it was. But they both see visions of the future. And when Melisandre in the show is unglamored, she looks haggard as hell.
Yeah, she does.
She looks, but Maggie is described really fucked up looking, like really bad, like green jowls and shit like that. Like, and Maggie, what kind of brazier does she have in her tent? Is it shaped like a basilisk? I think
so.
it was shaped like a basilisk. I think Maggie's definitely she's Eastern, because when Tyene calls out, or not Tyene, Mirish Swamp. What's the lady?
Taina.
When Taina like calls out to Cersei, she's like, "Oh, she sounds like Maggie the Frog." Cersei gets a whole fucking flashback.
Not again. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. We have a super chat from John Pierce. He says, "Y'all are wrecking vapes and assume twisted teas when you black out. LOL. Love it. My new regular channel. We're here every Sunday."
Ain't no laws with the claws.
Every Sunday. And we have a super chat from Wisdom. He says, "False. She didn't know about the red wedding. She sent her son along not knowing it was going down. It was Robb that kept Jean at River Run. Robb sent her back on the road. Robb took their castle in an attack." Right. Robb did take the crag in an attack. And I do remember like Jean riding out to Robb and like Robb being like annoyed about it.
Sending her back.
And sending her back. Yeah. So that is true.
Takes back season.
But still, she was privy to information. She was constantly communicating with Tywin. And there is, like, to me, there is a reason. Like, she knew Robb would never be king. Because why would you want your daughter not to marry a king? Like, you're really choosing your daughter to marry a Lannister bastard that has no title, hardly shit, than to marry the king in the north, Lord of Winterfell. Makes no sense to me.
Honestly, I really think it's just her putting her like support behind Tywin, because again, even though Robb was winning most of the battles, at the end of the day, he lost to Tywin. He still lost. So it's like, if I'm a betting person, I'm betting my money on Tywin before I put my money on Robb, and that's just being honest. Like, I don't know, he scares me.
Yeah,
but he's dead now.
Like Robb, like Tywin just, yes, Robb had the love of his people and he was a fantastic war general, whatever you want to call it. But when it comes down
and he was
to
hot.
It, Tywin had money, more men,
experience,
and he's ruthless against an honorable opponent.
Yeah.
So Ned wasn't necessarily like a cautionary tale against being honorable, but Ned was the very first example in this story of honor versus cunning and how that plays out.
87 Allen says, "What flavor you got over there, Gray?" Watermelon. Watermelon. And John Pierce says, "Girl, them claws." I think he's talking about you, Ara, with the white claw.
Ain't no laws.
Yeah, I think if I had to choose between Robb and Tywin, I'd probably choose Tywin.
Yeah. Oh, I just realized, Ghost of High Heart.
Ghost of High Heart. So, since we're talking about the Riverlands, we're going to be talking about the Ghost of High Heart. So, the Ghost of High Heart has made some predictions. A lot of those predictions have came true. She predicted the Red Wedding before it happened.
You know what? I'm just going to Google one of her dreams. Hold on.
Are you going to read it in a creepy voice?
Do you want me to?
Please do
the
voice. Okay, look, people I know in real life watch these streams these days. This is getting
real life watch them.
I know you.
Not gay. You say this is gay.
You guys are just figments of my imagination.
We're people that you know in real life, motherfucker.
Real life, but
okay. Let's see. Okay,
I'd
here
be
we go.
scared of Arya too. She's like a little child soldier.
Okay, so the old gods stir and will not let me sleep. I dreamt I saw a shadow with a burning heart butchering a golden stag. A. I dreamt of a man without a face waiting on a bridge that swayed and swung. On his shoulder perched a drowned crow with seaweed hanging from his wings. I dreamt of a warring wiver and a woman that was, I can't stand myself, and a woman that was a fish. Dead she drifted with red tears on her cheeks, but when her eyes did open, oh, I woke with terror. Or I woke, sorry, oh, I woke from terror. All this I dreamt and more. And then for her second dream, she says,
I thought I saw a putty cat.
should I just, I'm just gonna, okay. Oh my God. Okay. I dreamt a wolf howling in the rain. This is where we lose viewers. Okay. But no one heard his grief. I dreamt such a clangor, I thought my head might burst. Drums and horns and pipes and screams. But the saddest sound was the little bells. That's it. I dreamt of a maid at the feast.
This is gonna sound so bad. I was so focused on your voice, I didn't hear anything.
I didn't either.
Okay. I dreamt of a wolf howling in the rain, but no one heard his grief. I dreamt such a clangor. I thought my head might burst. Drums and horns and pipes and screams, but the saddest sound was the little bells. I dreamt of a maid at a feast with purple serpents in her hair, venom dripping from their fangs. And later, I dreamt that maid again, slaying a savage giant in a castle built of snow. And then of Arya, she says, I see you, wolf child, blood child. I thought it was the Lord who smelled of death. You are cruel to come to my hill, cruel. I gorged on grief at Summerhall. I need none of yours. Be gone from here, dark heart. Be gone.
Hold on one moment. She said the saddest thing she heard during the Red Wedding was bells. So like
jingle bells.
Jingle bells? No, that's what I'm saying. So like that was the saddest thing, ma'am? Jingle bells?
It kind of was.
Not Grey Wind?
Maybe
not
part of that
doggy.
Listen,
maybe
for me part
it
of
was
that
Grey
is
Wind, but then it was Jingle Bells.
Maybe
Okay.
part of that is connected
She's
to
like
another
dogs.
prophecy she might have about
Patrice?
bells.
So
Oh,
we
God.
talked.
Yeah,
we
that too,
had this
yeah.
whole discussion in the Discord, and we looked up every single instance of the mentioning of bells after the episode where Dany burns King's Landing in the show, and
It probably comes
there's-
from Patrice.
there's a lot of mentioning of bells, and it's actually a really good theory. I'll see if I can look it up, and we'll talk about it next week.
I think like the Dothraki
Okay.
too, and I think of bells, like the
So-
tinkling in the hair.
There's a couple of things about this prophecy. Yes, the bells in her hair, the bells in the Dothraki's hair. But there's a couple things about this prophecy I want to talk about.
Yes.
The Ghost of High Heart only describes the deaths of kings. So Renly, Balon, Joffrey, Robb. But then she says Sansa is going to slay a savage giant in a castle made of snow. So is Sansa going to slay Littlefinger, or is Sansa going to slay a king? Because all of those were deaths of kings.
I think it still might just be Littlefinger, and the only reason why I said that is because she also gets into Arya a little bit too.
Yo, what if she kills like the great other? What if Sansa is the fucking one that kills the great other? I would die. The king of winter in the snow castle. It's Sansa kills her. I would die.
I'd be so upset.
Yeah, I would die. But another
So
thing
upset.
about her dreams that I always think, because she talks about the death of kings, when Barristan is telling Dany about Rhaegar, he's like, Summerhall was his favorite place. He would go there and he'd come back with these sad songs about the death of kings. So maybe Rhaegar was getting prophecy from the Ghost of High Heart at Summerhall and then making songs out of this prophecy. So maybe the Song of Ice and Fire is a prophecy of the Ghost of High Heart. Yes.
Can you
I love
imagine
that
if the
idea.
Ghost of High Heart was like his own little Rasputin the whole time?
I
You
wouldn't be
know,
surprised.
like-
Well, she kind of is his own little Rasputin because I mean, she kind of is the one who brought about his birth a little bit.
was she was at Summerhall, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, even before that, she's the reason why his parents even got together. Because she was
I
the one
just-
who put it in Aegon the Egg's head, like, hey, you're if they get together, the Prince of Promise is gonna come from them, right?
I'm trying to imagine this chick at court because I know Jenny brought her, and I'm just
I
like
feel like-
imagining this like mockumentary with her just like not even speaking parts, just
I think
random
she's-
little camera frames off to like her behind a corner. Just
I don't know. I
I
feel
think
like
she's definitely half child of the forest, or she is a child of the forest. For
what
real.
if she's
I
just
do
a
as
little
well.
person, an albino little person?
Well, I say that.
And she
I
has red
say
eyes,
she
too.
Could be, but she has the red eyes. And the only other people that have them are Melisandre. Yeah.
oh, I said
Blood
it wrong last-
Raven.
in her age.
Yeah, she's like 1,000.
she's
She's like
old.
mad old. I was gonna say my only other thought would
And
be
she's like 3 feet tall.
would be like the Kranich men.
Remember
If
they
she has some
tell
relations
sorry,
to
go
them. No, that'd be my only thought. Like humanoid relation would be like
like a
she's-
Jojen type of character.
yeah. Oh, what if she's like half Kranich men, half Child of the Forest?
Can I address something
So
in
that's
the
when the
chat because I
stature-
think I offended somebody? So someone was saying basically like, what do you mean by just a little person? I mean, what if it's not magical? What if they happen to be a little person in the same way that Tyrion is a little person? I'm not being adorable. I'm like, what if there's nothing like magical about her blood at all? She could just be a little person. Like Tyrion is a little person.
They mistake her. I think they tell Cersei that Tyrion is like in High Heart, but it's actually her. Like when Cersei like puts out the hit on Tyrion and is like, bring me his head, and all the heads keep coming to King's Landing. Penny's brother gets killed, but they tell Cersei like, yeah, Tyrion's in High Heart in the Riverlands, and it's
Her.
Sorry, I'm gonna address the chat again. Whoever corrected me and said dwarf, like, yo, little person is literally the politically correct term for little people. It's not dwarf. It's not midget. Come on. Anyway, moving along. Now that
do we get to Emily Christina's super chat?
I
No, we
thought
have
we
not
did.
yet.
Thank
No,
you for
this
the
one
super
that-
chat, Emily Christina. I think Melisandre was drawn to Stannis because he is dutiful and the only king to take the others seriously and put the throne aside to go to the wall. That makes sense. I think there's probably some kind of magical element that drew her to Stannis, but I'm sure that was a factor. Yes,
I
There's a
think it was
vision.
Dragonstone that drew her, and Stannis happened to be at the seat. So she's like, you'll do. Because really, I mean, look at Stannis. He's the most mediocre looking white guy that could ever mediocre white guy.
Girl, Nim, you were gonna say something?
Alicia's on
his-
one.
His
love her.
mediocrity aside, he was just he was a tool, but he was just a tool to get her where she needed to be, in my opinion. Like she's bless her heart, she's really bad at reading her flames.
Mm-hmm.
Like she tries so hard, and I love that for her, but she's not very good at it. But I think in this one instance, she saw the conduit to who she was supposed to find, and Stannis was who got her there. Like she goes north with Stannis because that's where Stannis ends up going, but she wasn't supposed to be with Stannis. She was supposed to use Stannis as a way to get her to the north to eventually find Jon,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. Alicia?
Oh, I'm addressing the chat.
Girl.
To N plus A equals red herring. Like, look, I don't give a fuck what the book says 1,000 times. Just because the book says something doesn't mean it's a correct term in our real world. Like, shut up. Okay,
What are we
moving on.
talking about? Sorry,
Moving
I missed. I was gonna say the thing with Melisandre. Somebody probably said it. Sorry, guys, I had like a little. My mouth stopped working, but I was going to say I think she just went because they were like, "Ayo, we sent Thoros over there to convert Robert, and he's doing a shitty job. So can you like go fix that for us?"
Yo,
And
that makes sense.
they were like, "Oh yeah, I can take care of that. No problem."
No, Robert's not going to be king that much longer. He's about to die.
And
I
then
saw it in the
she
flames.
jumped on
Stannis.
Bald Dick.
We have a super chat from Delphi Morphia. Thank you for the super chat. I love y'all. That's all I got. And we have another super chat from John Pierce. Stannis will win the Battle of Snow, but you ain't ready. I agree. Stannis will win the Battle of Snow. I don't think he's ready. He's going to die probably soon after. He's going to be really injured.
I definitely.
Battle of Snow.
I don't think so. I think he's going to make it to the Night Fort. Well, okay, injured, yes, but I do think his demise comes about at the Night Fort. But we talked about this in our Stannis episode that we did with the usual suspects over at Tony Tefon's channel.
We have all the DireWolfCity episodes on a playlist, and you can see the playlist, and whoever's pictures on the thumbnail, that's who we're talking about. So we've covered the North, we've done the North scraps, we've done all of the Riverlands. This is the Riverlands scraps. We're in the process of doing the Crown lands and the Stormlands and we're about to move to Essos, where shit's gonna get crazy and spicy because we have Dany and Tyrion and Arya and Victarion. Yes, Alicia.
Oh, I was gonna say, when do we do voting on Essos? Because I think that we should, instead of, maybe we do this already, maybe I'm just exhausted, but at the end of the episode, when the four of us put out our ideas for the next vote, we should give reasoning as to why we really think people should vote that way. Like the presidency. This is why you should vote for my idea.
So we're going to campaign.
We're going to campaign for Victarion.
And I'll campaign for Dany.
But she's supposed to be last. She's like our grand Essos finale.
Yeah, Dany is actually going to be last because once we finish Dany, we will be moving into House of the Dragon. Guys, House of the Dragon comes out next year.
Next spring. Early. I know.
I can't. Wait. I'm so excited. So who haven't we covered right now during this episode of the Riverland Scraps? Is there anybody that we missed that we need to talk about? We talked about the Blackfish. We talked about Edmure. We talked about the Spicers. We talked about
the Hound. We talked about the Brotherhood without banners.
To talk about them, we don't care. So it would be just like a dry hump discussion.
It's not that we don't care; it's that we don't remember that they're in the Riverlands.
It would be a dry hump discussion. We would have,
or they're not going to be.
Love Lisa says Rickon. Rickon is surely not in the Riverlands, but we did do a Rickon episode. It's a really good episode, so it is on the DireWolfCity playlist.
Awkward moment. I have no idea what happened for the past 4 minutes. That's what was
you're lit.
No, like literally my mouse died and my headphones went out at the same time, so I could not hear or move a thing. That's why I was sitting here like,
oh yeah, Hallen Reed. Hallen Reed. So we'll close out with Hallen Reed.
I believe
I'm irritated with Hallen Reed.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a big exposition dump when he arrives. Honestly.
He's like the dad that went to buy cigarettes 20 years ago, and he's gonna try to pull some Steve from Blue's Clues shit. Be like, hey guys,
I never forgot about you.
I never forgot about you. I'm so proud of everything. Listen,
you remembered me, Alicia.
We talk so much shit about how, as millennials, we talk so much shit about how Gen Z needs to grow up, and I've never seen more grown-ass people being like, I needed that Blue's Clues closure.
I needed that Blue's Clues thing, okay? That's me. Oh I love Steve.
So
Steve made me feel so happy that he remembered me and he's still my friend. So we're not going to talk bad about Steve.
John Pierce said, as a big dumb white guy, I love Victoria. Thank you for
Listen.
the super
We love that
chat.
for you, John. Thank you.
Big dumb white guys need love too. You know?
So, about Howland Reed, do you guys think that Howland Reed
Is a piece
Like-
of shit.
do you think Howland Reed's a piece of shit?
Listen.
What?
Yes.
Listen, I think that
Those
Howland
too
Reed is a
much.
bad father in the same way that Goku from Dragon Ball Z is a bad father. We spend so much time cheering for Goku and his quirky
Have fun
personality
going off
that
to
we
die.
don't listen. Right. Like we don't stop to think about the fact that it's like you're kind of a shitty father. Howland Reed, we're so wrapped up in the enigma of him that we forget he's a shit dad.
That if he left his floating little keep for 10 fucking minutes and just said, hey, I know some things you people might need to know. Here they are.
Right.
And everything would be like, okay, we can handle this now because it's not an unknown anymore. It's a known. And it would just be like so much better. But no, he's just sitting there hunting fucking lizard lions, doing whatever the hell he does. And
Scratching his
I'm
balls.
irritated with him to no end.
Honestly, I just thought
He's
about
a
it.
piece
Like,
of shit.
he didn't send his kids with like any escort, did he? Like, I
No.
don't remember.
He just
No,
sent
just
them
something
He's
to
just
them
like,
all.
have fun.
He's like,
Pinned
"I
a
believe in
$20
you."
bill to their jacket and said, best of luck, kids.
Hope we get a Winterfell.
That's some
Like,
bullshit.
Enjoy your hike through the whole fucking north, which is huge.
I mean, I
Good
would
luck.
say on a scale of Randall Tarley Tywin, Robert Baratheon, Stannis Baratheon, I would say Howland Reed's pretty okay in my book. He hasn't even been there to do anything to me yet.
He hasn't been
Honestly,
there for his kids either.
Right.
I
That's
mean,
the
Jojen-
point. He hasn't
but
been
What if
there.
they wanted to go on like this great adventure? And he's like, I went on an adventure when I was your age. It's your turn
I went
now.
to meet the Green Men. Go ahead and do it.
I don't know.
Nah.
It's a rite of passage. I don't know. But I just honestly feel like he just knows way too much. So it's one of those characters. You just gotta like
He's frustrating.
bring him back. Oh, what if he's like plugged into like some type of werewood throny chair thing? Like
He's all Brendan Rivers
Reason.
up.
Do you know who he is?
In a
He's
swamp.
like Tom Bombadil of A Song of Ice
Huh?
and Fire.
yes. Yes.
Like he
So,
doesn't
Howland Reed
just has this like bazooka of either power. Like for Tom Bombadil, he is the bazooka. But Howland Reed
seeing
has
the
this
plants.
bazooka of knowledge, and he chooses to just stick around in the fucking like wild and talk about how hot his wife is. You know, doesn't do shit.
Ooh, do you think his wife? I'm not sure if I missed this. Do you guys think his wife might be Ashara?
Yeah.
Chloe
Yes.
does. from
I,
Girls
you know,
Gone
that's
Canon.
the thing. That's the thing. And I've read those theories.
I can buy it.
Yeah, she makes it
Mhm.
believable.
Chloe does make it believable. If you do not listen to Girls Gone Canon, the podcast, I recommend them. I love Chloe and Eliana, but Chloe has a theory. I think the first part of the theory is called a falling star in Westeros. It's really good. But I wanted to say, do you think if Winterfell falls, right? The only thing I feel like there's gonna be a battle at Moat Cailin, because they're always talking about how like Moat Cailin they've never had to defend it from the northern side.
Yeah, because no one can fucking find it.
Yeah, it's raggedy. It's raggedy as
floating
shit.
here.
No, that's Greywater Watch.
clitoris
I'm
of
talking about Moat
Westeros.
Cailin.
Wait. Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. I was thinking Grey Water.
But Moat Cailin is raggedy as shit.
Put that on a
though.
t-shirt. Moat Cailin.
Can we just start? No, can we
Oh,
just
no,
start
Greywater
calling
Watch.
Greywater Watch the clitoris
Clitoris
of
of
the north?
That is hilarious.
And only the women can find it.
Yes. So we have a super chat from Cyclops is better than Wolverine. Will the Hound leave the Riverlands this book?
Yes.
You think it'll be in Winds?
I think everything happens and wins.
So you don't think there's
Everything.
no dream?
Oh no, I think there's a dream, but I think like the chess
It's gonna stay a
pieces-
dream.
I think that the chess
Mhm.
pieces move around in Winds, and then the shit hits the fan toward the end of Winds, and then all the action is in dream / aftermath wind down. But inevitably, the chess pieces do have to move in Winds. They have to.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But
if he
it's,
doesn't know the
it-
Riverlands,
Like,
I could see him
what
going
else
to
has he got
Vale.
going on?
I mean,
They
I
like-
don't think we're gonna hear from Winds. Like
He's got
the way
nothing going
it looks-
on. He's
but the
hanging out
way-
on some island building a fort or something. Like he's
Exactly.
not occupied. He's free.
Ooh, I got an idea. I think that he might like just somebody like just might mention him like as a character in the background, but not particular focus. Kind of like
Yeah.
how like Thomas Evans, like he just like if he it was
Like,
a
we
blink
know
and you
he's
miss it.
around.
Yeah, like in that Jamie chapter, it's literally a blink and you'll miss it that he's actually there. Like you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I know that guy. I know that guy. So I think the Hound is gonna have one of those situations where he's kind of like in the background of somebody's chapter and they don't know who he is exactly. Kind of like how it was when we just saw him with Brienne. Like she didn't know who that guy was, but we as the audience knew who it was. I think it'd be similar to that. But besides the Riverlands, only the places like the Vale I could think of. Where else would he really go? I don't see him going south because he doesn't like the Lannisters, let alone his brother. Like, I mean, he thinks his brother's dead, but I think word's gonna get around like, oh, Cersei has this really big guy that doesn't talk as her like Kingsguard guy. I wonder who that could be. And then
The mountain.
yeah,
I
My
have an
brother.
earnest question. Do you guys think that Howland Reed has a lazy eye? I just know he does. Like I don't know. I'm just calling it right now. Call it intuition. I don't know.
You might have
It's
that.
been so
you
much
might have
time.
that thing when I smoke weed and one of my eyes gets a little like
Like a little stigmatism, like lazy eye. When you're...
It happens when my
Yeah.
eye. It's like
Howland Reed has lazy eye and a buck teeth. He's a mess. And that's why he stays in Greywater Watch.
oh
Well, if he does look like that and he got a Chardane, like he pulled one of the baddest bitches.
because he has a
in
nice
Westeros.
personality.
And he's swinging a club.
Listen, I was gonna say maybe it's what he can do with his other little nice guy.
I mean,
Anyway.
he found the clitoris of Westeros. So.
He can find the
And
clitoris because he lives there.
Because he lives in it.
Speaking of Howland,
So we have a super chat from Catherine Pelletier. Thank you for the super chat. Do you think Howland will be the one to tell Jon Snow about his parentage?
I don't know. It
He's the one
just
to-
tracks for him to be just like this absentee piece of shit that doesn't do
I feel
anything
like-
useful.
he'll be the one to corroborate it. Like he'll be like I think John will hear from other sources, probably Bran, honestly, but I think Howland Reed would be the one to convince everybody else because they know, like, especially actually, it's probably been a good thing that he's been in like isolation this whole time, because then it's like, what would be his ulterior motive? Because he hasn't involved himself so far in anything, and he kind of seems disinterested in everything on top of that, besides like what's happening in his immediate area. So him coming up like, oh yeah, no, you guys knew I was there. Everybody knows I was there. Yeah, no, that's his mom.
He kind of reminds me.
And then Ashara pops up like, yeah, and people are like, oh my god, I thought you were dead. She's like, no. And then they
There
just
are
go,
elements of Howland Reed's inactivity that slightly reminds me of Hestia in Greek mythology. Like you got all these Greek gods running around vying for power, being assholes, and meanwhile back at the ranch, Hestia's in front of her hearth, just like, I just want to be in front of this fire. Like there's this, I don't know why he just reminds. I'm tired, y'all. Nothing's making sense.
he's been traumatized. Like if you think about it, like look at like everybody obviously deals with their trauma differently. Like figure he saw the same shit Ned was seeing.
Less emotional investment in what Ned saw.
I mean, he was friends. Like he was still friends with Lyanna. He was friends with like.
But losing a friend and losing your only sister are.
Oh yeah, no. But at the end of the day, trauma is still trauma, and for
I
him, maybe
suppose.
his way of coping with it was like, I'm just gonna go into isolation. And I really do think Ashara is Mira and Jojen's mom. So again, them together, trying to cope with that loss, because figure she just lost everybody she ever knew and loved and cared about. Like she lost Elia, who was her best friend. She lost her brother. She lost her brother's best friend. Like if that's if Ashara is their mom's skis, which I think she is. So figure, I mean, all that loss, and then war is traumatizing. So it's like, yeah, he's seen some shit. So he's probably like, I'm all set. Actually, I don't want to deal with you people unless I need to be here. But I really don't need to be here.
If I were gonna choose a place to not leave, it wouldn't be a swamp dump.
He likes his swamp dump. He's Shrek. He likes
It's
his
It's his
my
home.
swamp dump.
It's his home. We have a super chat from John Pierce. He said, "Can you post Child's channel? Cause I always
Chloe. He corrected it and said Chloe in a next. Yeah.
Chloe, thank you for both super chats. You don't have to send me another super chat for the typo, but if you're balling, just say that. Like, just say that.
So Chloe, I don't know if she has a YouTube channel, but she does have a podcast, and she does cover Song of Ice and Fire, chapter by chapter analysis with her co-host Eliana. It's called Girls Gone Canon.
I think they might live stream sometimes. Oh no, that's on Nauticast. Nauticast live.
Yeah,
stream, right?
they'll guest on Nauticast.
Yeah,
I
so
don't have YouTube.
iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, anywhere you listen to podcasts, just type in Girls Gone Canon. And they also cover stuff like his dark materials. Yeah.
Somebody on Twitter said his dar materials once, and
His
I can
dar.
never his dar. So I can never unsay his dar materials. No. Anyways.
Would John get Rhaegar's harp and sing the Song of Ice and Fire to drive away?
Could
The
John even
others.
sing? I feel like John's tone deaf.
I feel like it would break all the ice in Westeros. The wall would fall if John sang. But I do think that legend, that Roynish legend, I don't necessarily think it was the song. I think it was the words of the song, like whatever the words of the song told them to do. Not like a spell, but like a prophecy. Like the song itself is a prophecy.
I got really big Ocarina of Time vibes from that question. Have you ever seen the TikTok? You know that sound that has like Lizzo's flute playing? Like, bitch! So someone, okay, never mind. Someone made a TikTok of them pretending they were like playing the ocarina during that Lizzo thing, like playing it to Ganondorf while Ganondorf's just like, okay. Anyway, moving along. But yeah, big Zelda vibes with that.
When we were talking about the tourney, we had got a super chat that was asking about Jaime possibly dying in Lady Stoneheart's cave, and I just want to answer that and then get into our votes and close the stream out because we just hit 2 hours on the stream. So I think that Jaime's Weirwood dream does kind of show him dying in a cave with Brienne. Like Cersei tells him, as long as the flames will burn as long as you live. And then his sword goes out, Brienne stays lit. It is a very prophetic dream, like the whole bear thing where Jaime goes back and gets Brienne and rescues her from the bear. Like it is prophetic that his father will give him a sword, the Valyrian sword. It is prophetic that he gives it to Brienne. And in the dream, he's fighting a ghost Rhaegar because he did not protect Rhaegar's children. Like he's fighting with him about not protecting his children.
And he didn't protect Kat's children, which was her ask of him when she let him go.
Right, and Kat is kind of like a ghost. Like she's come back in a ghostly form from the dead. But with that said, I feel like Jaime's story cannot end in that fucking cave. So does could he die? Could Thoros give him like the fucking kiss and bring him back and we have a whole bunch of fucking whites around?
Ooh.
That doesn't have to be the only cave that he's in. I mean, isn't there like a Weirwood cave that Arianne was in?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the crypts of Winterfell is kind of like a cave as well.
Yeah.
And the what he thinks he's in the belly of Cashley Rock. Like that's where he thinks he is in his dream.
So for me, it's just like, I'm trying to think of how in the hell he's going to get out of there. But so far, he's not even there yet. They're on the way there.
Yeah.
So even though I don't think Brienne would leave Pod behind, like I really don't want her to leave Pod behind, there is a possibility they could get kidnapped by somebody else along the way. Or like ambushed by somebody else, or like, I don't know, the Lannister soldiers catch up to them and they like go with Jaime. I don't know. Like I feel like something's got to have to intervene because I cannot imagine Lady Stoneheart letting him walk out unless they did a trial by combat with him and Brienne. But then he'd probably still lose.
And then like you got those people like Tom O'Sevens. Like say Tom O'Sevens is there. Tom O'Sevens just heard Jaime just made him fucking play the Reigns of Castamere for Edmure. Like, I'll launch your fucking baby with a trebuchet over this wall. Like,
yeah, no, it's not looking good for Jaime. Like, I don't want him to die, but it's really like, it's looking bleak. We need like a Deus Ex Machina moment to get him out.
Like his literal defense right now is, I'm just playing. I was just playing.
Mandy,
Jaime.
So all the other stuff aside, you know, Jaime launching babies and stuff. He and Brienne have kind of kept their word. Like Brienne is still looking for the girls. So if they do have just a moment to plead their case, there's, I think, a very slim chance that Stoneheart will be like, okay, so you're kind of still doing it, kind of like you got a little distracted there, but I don't want my kids to see me like this either. So maybe save them and get them to where they're going. You've got like one last chance and that's it. Like, I know she's Mother Merciless. I know she's just lopping heads off left and right because she feels like it. I get it. But she has continued to look like Brienne has been risking her life at what was the cave with all like the whispers or whatever. There's like the whisper
in the Rainwood.
And she went up to the Crack Claw Point and like she had to kill those 3 guys. Like she's risking her life to find her daughters, and they're still like working on it. There's a chance if they can like speak that they might be able to convince Stoneheart.
I think I figured what that possibly could be. So like I was mentioning earlier about the word getting around about Littlefinger having a daughter, mysteriously the same age of Sansa. And also that daughter happens to be pretty. Everyone comments on how pretty she is. I think that could help save them. Like Sansa's in the Vale with Littlefinger. Like I know where she is. Like, or I would just bluff the whole way, bluff the whole card. I'd be like, yeah, no, I know where she is. She's in Littlefinger's. I was just about to go over there and go get her. How about we just, send me with some of your guys and we'll go, go get your daughter. Cheese, like
that makes a lot of sense.
That's my only thought because I'm like, yeah, she'd have to talk her down, and I feel like the only card they can play is the rumor of Littlefinger having a daughter roughly the same age as Sansa. That being the card that they play, because Arya.
And I still think it's possible. I still think it's possible they can talk their way out of it if they're given a moment to talk.
Yeah, maybe he'll, pull a Tyrion and find a way to, talk his way out of it.
Yeah. So we have 2 more super chats, and then we're gonna go ahead and go because we all got to work tomorrow. So we have a super chat from Balerion the Cat. I'm coming in late. Could you discuss this at the end? I think Sir Shadrick the Mouse will expose or try to kidnap Sansa to take her to Cersei. I've never thought of that.
I like that idea because Sansa likes him. Not like, but like, she doesn't have a problem.
Like
she trusts him.
Cool with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. I don't see how he would get her out of the Vale though, with like the mountain clans and I don't think he could get her out of the Vale.
Maybe they try and they run into the Blackfish on the way.
Quite possibly.
We have another super chat from Josh. Another great stream. Thank you to all 4 of y'all. Always interesting and insightful takes. Hope everyone has a good week. All right. So thank you for the super chat, Josh. And we are going to be ending this stream here. And we're just going to go ahead and give you our picks for next week. I'll go last.
Oh, I'll go first. I'm going to keep throwing them out here. I'm going to say in the Sand Snakes as a collective. So drop a snake. If you want us to talk about, Nymeria and Obara and all the other million children that Oberyn has.
I was going to say Alaris, so you kind of encompassed that in there too. Sorella.
Oh, yeah.
The Sphinx. So who else is even left? The South is kind of sparse at the moment because we've covered everyone in like of note in the Stormlands, right? Because it's just
Arianne.
Aegon and Arianne and John Con, and the Golden Company.
I could have sworn we did John. No, we did Aegon.
Yeah.
John
Randall
Con, I feel like,
Tarley.
would be a Scraps. I feel like a lot of them would be
Yeah.
a Scraps episode.
So should we just do a Westeros Scraps?
South scraps of the South.
I'm gonna say we should probably do. Should we do a Littlefinger episode? Because we just like read Littlefinger to filth in this episode, and we have him in the Sansa.
We did a Littlefinger. Oh no, we did a Littlefinger.
No, we didn't. We
episode.
covered him with Sansa.
We covered him with Sansa.
But I could have sworn because I remember when people voted for Varys, I was like,
Oh,
we already talked
option.
about one sleazeball. I don't want to talk about another sleazeball. The next,
Right.
I'm pretty sure we did a Littlefinger stream.
No. We had added him as an option to vote, but figure in this stream versus in that Sansa stream, we covered a lot of Littlefinger. I can't think of much more we could cover with
I
him.
mean, we could basically do the Sand Snakes in a Westeros Scraps episode. Like we could probably do another 2-hour episode next Sunday and wrap up the rest of Westeros and move to Essos. I don't know. What do you
think
guys
so.
in the chat think? And what do you guys think?
Oh, so my only thought process is there's so many of them, of the Sand
I
Snakes
don't
that
think
count
we're
for
ready to just
minus the
move from
kids.
Westeros because we still need to do King's Landing Scraps. Because I think we should talk about the Faith.
We
think
haven't
should-
done Euron over here either.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
We've done
did
Euron a couple
on
times.
I
Tommy.
missed it. No, we did it here
Really?
because I missed that episode. That's when you guys went on the
Oh, that's right.
Technically,
Odette,
we did.
Swan
Yeah.
Lake.
You're right.
Yeah.
You guys are in the
Technically-
DireWolfCity meeting.
Technically, we did Euron twice because we did
Right, 'cause
Euron
we did
over
it
Unusual
over
Suspects.
on
Actually,
Tommy's channel.
can we
Yeah.
make that an option, like the Sand Snakes? And I think the Faith should be its own option because
Mhm.
that's a lot going on over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't have anybody to. Okay. Sand Snakes put a snake, and who's the other option? What are the other options for Westeros?
The Faith,
The
for the
Faith
Seven.
put a shit
Star.
emoji.
Oh,
I hate the Faith militant. I hate.
I mean, who?
Oh, I think a star. A star. Is
Yeah, a
appropriate.
star for the Faith.
Um,
Who else?
we do need to discuss John Con.
A whole episode for him?
Maybe not a whole episode, but we could. Oh, a Golden Company episode. Because I think
John
that's
Con and the Golden Company together.
right.
John
Because I feel like there's
Alright,
so much
put-
exposition that goes in with the Golden Company, not just
Is-
what they're actively doing right now.
And I
Is
can
there a
really get into my
gold
grayscale
bar
thing.
emoji? No, put the skull. Put the skull for the Golden Company and John Con. That'll be my pick. Golden Company and John Con. Put a skull.
And then, so we're all done with the Reach. So we're not doing scraps with like Olenna or Mace.
I was thinking we were gonna, because we didn't separate them by region, we were gonna do scraps of
Like a South.
the South. Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
like the South Crown Lands.
So the
Stormland.
secondary Lannisters, we could discuss that as a
The
whole episode.
Lannisters.
The Lannisport Lannisters. The JV Lannisters.
We never going to Essos, y'all. We never going.
I mean, there's
No, we
still
will. In 3
my
episodes. I
fear,
think.
okay, but my fear is we're gonna go over to Essos and then like have this epiphany during a stream where we're like, oh fuck, we didn't. I
We
just
didn't
felt like
cover
that
this
meme, like,
person.
oh fuck, you're gonna okay. But I mean, we're gonna be like, oh, we didn't discuss this while we were over in Westeros, and be like, just kidding, we have to go back to Westeros because we forgot our charger at home or some
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Our
So then it will
phone
just
died.
be Planetos scraps.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
But no, we do still have a lot to do in Westeros. Like, we never really talked about Olenna. Like, we talked about Marjorie, but we never really talked about Olenna.
or
and her
the
brothers.
Yeah. So we should just do a High Garden episode.
Or we could have people vote on whether they want us to move on to Essos as well. Because
Yeah,
right
like,
now
what
we're
do you
picking
guys
bones.
want? Like, what do you guys want? Do you guys want us to move to Essos?
I'm
Do
gonna
you
make.
guys want us
I'm
to
gonna make a
stay in
statement.
Westeros?
Let's finish Westeros. No, I'm sorry, I'm taking you guys' votes away from you for this part. We're not going to Essos yet. We're gonna finish what we started in Westeros, and we're gonna go conquer Essos as a unit. But anyways,
I agree.
I'm
was
so
thinking-
excited to talk about Victorian though.
Did we ever do a Theon episode?
No.
Yes.
We didn't.
No, we didn't.
Oh,
We didn't.
Okay, never mind, because I've done. Okay, I
Asha
assumed
and
we did.
Asha and
Okay,
Theon
because
got
I did a
into.
Theon episode with the guys over at Not a Cast. So in my mind, I'm like, well, yeah, we did a Theon episode.
Yeah, we covered him and
Vaguely touched on him.
a little bit in the Northern Scraps
Okay,
Yeah.
someone said Theon was in
and
Scraps.
Stannis.
Yeah, Theon was in Scraps, but I really do think Theon could get his own. Like, I feel like we
Okay,
could really
so
flesh
a
him
snake for the sand snakes.
My vote is Theon.
What do you want your emoji to be for Theon?
more. Squid.
I was thinking something like so dumb. Yeah, a squid. We'll
A
go with
squid for Theon.
Hot dog.
My choice, a skull for the Golden Company and John Khan. So on the Golden Company episode, we'll probably talk a lot about like the Blackfires. We'll get into that. And the, like Alicia was saying, like the exposition behind the Golden Company.
And I'll write out that whole dissertation on fucking Randall Tarley's stupid ass.
Okay. We got so many emojis going on. Let's make sure that we
I know.
lock
I'm going to
it
be
in.
counting
Okay.
for a week.
So Faith, the Faith Militant is a star. Golden Company is a skull. Theon Greyjoy is a squid. And then what was the other one?
Sand snakes are a snake.
Sand snakes are snakes, because I'm looking at fucking ducks right now in the chat. Y'all
That's
are
for the
out of
High
control.
Sparrow. That's for
Okay.
the High Sparrow.
Okay. So I guess hot dogs also count as squids.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, and
Because of the
eggplants are
sausage
also
thing.
squids. So anything
Yes.
phallic is Theon Greyjoy, I
It's
guess.
Theon.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
All
So
right.
we are all done with the Riverlands scraps, and we did it without talking about Nimble Dick Crab.
Oh, you
Anyway,
just talked about it, so
Yeah, you lost the game.
Good job,
so-
Greg. Thanks so much.
sorry, but we won though because we didn't talk about
We
it.
didn't obsess over someone that we don't actually like. We just jump on a band. Okay, I'll stop.
Anyway, Yuki's back here, and she says good night, and good night to all of you guys, and we will see you next Sunday, same time. And whoever you vote on, that's who we will be covering. And thank you everybody for tuning in. And Ara, you have something you want to do?
yes, you guys, if you guys are fans of American Horror Story, we'll be on Gray's channel this week after the episode. So check us out around 11:15, 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. See you there.
Yes. And the week after that, we're on Ara's channel. So we've been alternating channels every Wednesday to do the after show. So if you guys want to tune in, make sure you subscribe to her channel. She also has amazing American Horror Story theory videos. And Alicia, what do you have going on?
I knew you were going to do that.
This.
I was going to be like, life.
Preposterous.
We have finally given ourselves a date to launch our second podcast, our second child, if you will. And it will be called Preposterous AF. And we will be discussing, how is it you summed it up in the intro, Gray?
One dumb bitch explains
Some crazy shit to three other dumb bitches.
three other dumb bitches.
Yes.
So it's basically like true crime, but with a
Unexplained
twist,
mysteries.
unexplained mysteries. It is a very it's us So it's the same personalities that you see on DireWolfCity, you see on Preposterous. We're not like laughing out loud at people that have died, but we're covering stories that are strange.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we have a lot of episodes done. It's in the works, and we're trying to get it done by October.
So check that out in time for Halloween season.
I was
Yes.
gonna say, I feel like creepy season is perfect for launching some of these stories. We have recorded some episodes so far, and the stories that we've shared so far, because that's the thing, like going into it, none of us know what the host who is sharing, like what story they're going to share. So this is a new story for us going into it. So it's kind of, you're hearing it as we're hearing it, and I'm not good at hyping things up, so
It's fun. You guys will like it.
Yeah. So expect Preposterous. When the first episode comes out, you guys will know about it first. And you guys, oh, Mandy, is your channel up yet?
No.
I'm gonna ask you this every Sunday.
But we have book club every Monday and Thursday in the Discord, and tomorrow we have a trivia night. So there's a couple of links floating around. Adrian just posted a link. I've posted a link up higher. So come join the Discord and hang out with us.
Oh,
not giving to peer pressure.
I want to tell you. Oh yeah, they have trivia tomorrow, but I want to tell you, I am almost finished a Game of Thrones for Obsidian Nights.
Yes.
Obsidian Nights will be being posted regularly starting this week. I've recorded chapter 10, Daenerys 10, where Daenerys has the birth of dragons. I recorded that with Quinn on Friday. It was really good. I think you guys are going to love it. And like we have, what, Mandy, like 7 chapters left?
No, we only have 4.
Yeah,
4.
So,
I have 2, Ara has 1, and someone else has the last one.
And
then we can move on.
And then I do the prologue.
Clash.
I do the prologue of A Clash of Kings with Alicia. So if you guys want to be on Obsidian Nights, hit up Mandy, hit me up, however you want to do it. Like, sign up to be on Obsidian Nights. I think it's booked out till 2024, but people can't.
I'm starting to feel like the bad friend, because Mandy and Ara just like ate up a lot of these chapters in a good way, but like they signed up for a bunch of chapters, and me, I was like, I'll take Dany 3.
They're just
I'll
always
take Clash. Clash.
I'm just like, I'm a substitute. I'm just a sub.
If somebody cancels, they just hold me down.
Okay, I was like, did I just not sign up for enough?
Oh no. I sub in. Okay. I sub in. I normally sign up for like 1, just because I like to give you guys a chance to, get on Obsidian Nights, because I love hearing like our listeners. Like you guys have great opinions all the time, and like you catch stuff I never would have caught. But yeah, so when you guys backs out, we sub in.
Yeah, I pick one chapter that I really want to do, and then I just fill in whenever is needed. But yeah, I am booked out pretty far. I'm booked out until like I think the middle of 2023. So spaces do fill up fast. If you want to be a guest host, just DM me on Instagram or Twitter at NimShadow.
There you have it. All right, guys, you have a good rest of your night and a great week. And we will see you next Sunday. And if you watch American Horror Story, you'll see me and Ara on Wednesday. Bye. Good night. Thank you for everybody that showed up and supported and that shows up and supports us every Sunday. Bye.